Hello, Durud, and Shalom. Hi, Monkey.
Hello, Durut, Shalom, and Hola.
And hola. So, we have President Trump here honoring the fallen patriots with strikes. So, this is I don't know if it's the only comment so far, but President Trump I think it was the first one. I'm sure there's more comments that President Trump has made regarding the recent American servicemen that were uh, murdered by the evil regime in Tehran, and talking about what he thinks about this and the consequences about what consequences are going to be there. Let's play this, and then I'm going to be listening to you guys in the chat and Monkey here to see what you guys think this means and what you guys think is about to happen and what you think should happen. So just listen. Let's listen to this first.
Well, we feel very badly, but those great people, those great patriots were out there fighting that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Iran has been very, very badly damaged. They've lost everything almost militarily. They've got very little left. They've got some missiles. They've got some drones. They've got some manufacturing ability, not much. We control the strait. They don't control anything. So we'll see what happens. But we hit them very hard again tonight. And we did that in honor of the probably three. It's probably three as opposed to two great patriots. Well, we.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on this?
Well, he said probably three. That may mean that there was an unidentified, uh, unidentified casualty of this, and they're in the process of identification. That might be the meaning behind this because we had one that was missing. He's saying probably three. And I had
So,
heard something yesterday about identification of someone. I think it was on Fox when we were doing the stream. So I think that's what's going on here.
I think this video was before it was finally confirmed that there are three. There's still, I think there's still one missing. I think there's the reason why he's saying three is because then there was another one. There's another serviceman that was killed when they were dealing with and what is this team when there was a drone that didn't explode and they were trying to deal with that, and then remember do you know what I'm talking about? There was another
Yes, when you're
server.
dealing with unexploded ordnance, like a bomb squad.
Yes, exactly, and that's how the missing person. I think this is why he was talking about the third one, not the missing one. That's still unconfirmed. That's what I think happened.
Okay.
Yes, yes. So if the missing person ends up being end up having been killed as well, if they find him dead as well, that would be four on top of this the third one. Um, what do you think about the so far what's happening with regards to the response? Do you think something big is being planned, or we should still wait? What do you want to see?
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, sure. I'd like to see some hits, but I don't want to endanger the mission because we're speaking out of emotion or acting out of emotion. Like I would want what probably their family would want is to say finish the job, right? Like if you're
Right.
gonna if like doing a x number of strikes and then letting those people get away with staying in power. I mean, that's not justice. That's not revenge either. That's just an emotional catharsis, right? And I don't want catharsis. I want these people who have done this to these service members and killed thousands of people, a lot of Americans among them, to be ended. I want the job to be finished. I want to not have to deal with this in 5 years, 10 years. I want this to be over. That's the best revenge and that's the best justice because those things don't have to be apart. People say, "Oh, there's a difference between justice and revenge." Yes, but sometimes they align too. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. Um, here's the confirmation. Here's the news regarding the other servicemen being. Here's the most recent updates on that. Let me full screen this.
Very important news, sobering news at that. CENTCOM confirming another U.S. service member killed as they work to determine the identity of the other service members killed during an Iranian attack in Jordan. The U.S. retaliating with a 9th straight night of strikes on Iran.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst joins us live now in Tel Aviv with the details. Trey.
Hey guys, good morning. A 9th consecutive night of U.S. strikes hit Iran overnight. According to U.S. Central Command, a variety of different targets were hit, including Iranian military command centers, surveillance sites, maritime capabilities, missile and drone launch positions, and communications networks. The strikes do come after 3 U.S. service members were killed by an Iranian ballistic missile attack in Jordan on Friday. A 4th soldier was killed in northern Iraq during a controlled detonation of an unexploded Iranian drone. President Trump reacted to the deaths of these soldiers Sunday.
We feel very badly, but you know, those great people, those great patriots are out there fighting that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Iran has been very, very badly damaged. They've lost everything almost militarily. We control the strait. They don't control anything. So we'll see what happens.
President,
You know, I have to admit, and Mikey, maybe you will disagree with me on this. I know it might not mean much. Maybe I'm just being emotional here, but I was hoping a more aggressive language from President Trump against the Islamic Republic after the 3 servicemen were killed. So you could tell me why I'm wrong about that, but I was hoping something a lot more aggressive. Why am I wrong?
I could steel man it maybe, but I agree with you on this. Like I would want him, like maybe he doesn't want to show emotion, like he doesn't want to show that he's acting out of emotion. He doesn't want to give the impression that they have an effect on him, right? You know, that might be playing towards like not letting the Islamic Republic make them think that they're making him angry, having an effect on him or his judgment. That's the best deal man I could make. But I would want him to, I would want him to be a little more pissed. And I have seen him a little more pissed. So I'm just like, you know, steel manning. It's like, it's not like we haven't seen him be kind of, we have seen him rage out. Maybe it could also be like as a form of respect. Like you don't want to pretend like your emotions should be higher than those of the family. Let the families mourn, let them have the time, let them have their let their emotions run. But I'm steel manning. You understand what I'm saying? Like I agree with you on like I would like to hear him like, hey, you know, this is something that they're gonna pay for, even if you say it calmly, and that kind of language. I can't be specific about it, but I understand your point of view. Kind of
Okay.
share it a little.
Okay, all right. Somebody in the chat saying the entire world should bomb America. Okay, Betty. Okay, in your dreams, maybe. What? How much did you fail in life for you to hate America so much? Yeah, probably.
Well, it is a trait of the envious that they want to destroy their competition because they can't compete.
That's exactly right, Monkey. This is why I think like when somebody hates America, they're probably a failure in one way, and they're just jealous of the superiority of America. That's what I think.
It's also a mark of Marxism.
Yes, exactly. Shauna just gave us a super chat saying the media is class is already calling this an Iraq like drawn out war. He has to be balanced in a razor thin edge right now. Oh, okay. So you're saying, Shauna is saying basically because the media is trying to pretend like this is very much similar to Iraq, so President Trump needs to be careful with his language. That's why needs to talk like this. So that's another statement by Shauna.
Yeah, he might have to, you know, say like, hey, we have a plan here. We're fulfilling a plan. these things happened, and with these soldiers, with the EOD, explosive ordnance disposal soldier, that has been happening. But we have a plan, and we're gonna carry it out.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I think we might be just being emotional here. I mean, at least me, I'm thinking me being emotional here. But you guys, what matters is what they do more than what they say. So I do understand that. So thank you. Yeah. Well, let's see what happens.
They don't control anything. So we'll see what happens.
President Trump told Fox News last week that if Iran doesn't reach a deal, strikes will escalate this week to hit power plants and bridges. Iranian officials, including some of the negotiators, remain defiant.
You can neither threaten us nor bribe us. In the negotiations before the 12-day war, they had come to bribe. Not to bribe me, to bribe the Islamic Republic, saying we will do this and that. We will build this and that. I told them there that our enrichment is not for sale. This is something the people of Iran for 20 years.
Well, if your enrichment is not for sale, then just die. By the way, the enrichment, what they mean by enrichment is getting a nuclear bomb, because they get nothing out of enrichment other than a nuclear bomb. They have been enriching for decades now, and they haven't produced any amount of meaningful electricity. Like, what is the point of enrichment? Like, there's power outages. You're an oil and gas rich country, and you don't have enough energy. And all my friends in Iran, they have, every single one of them has power outages, hours every single day. So you already had oil and gas for energy, and now with the addition of the enriched uranium, you still don't have any electricity. In fact, things got worse. When I was in Iran 20 years ago, we didn't have power outages like this. Not at this level. So with the oil and gas, with the enriched uranium, Iranians have power outages so much more than 20 years ago. So what was the point of the enrichment of uranium? The whole point was to get a nuclear bomb.
Another point is that if you notice, he calls the negotiation bribery, bro. That's what a negotiation is. It's not bribery to say, hey, we want you to make some concessions. In exchange, we will grant this. And you ask of us what you think is a good. That's just negotiation. The way he's framing it as bribery is ridiculous, because that would mean that they're the world cop. Are you the world cop that negotiating with you is bribery? Get the hell out.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. In negotiation, you give something, you take something. So you have to give something. That's you giving your share of the negotiation.
Bribery would imply that he's the cop or he's in charge of something.
Imagine if you come to my store, Monkey, and like, how much is that? How much is that gum? I'm like, you're trying to bribe me for some gum? Get out of here with your.
It's ridiculous. Like, what? I can't haggle? What are you talking about? This is haggling. This isn't bribery.
You give and you take. What the hell? Oh, Fleshy just came with a super chat. Thank you, Fleshy. Saying Durud and Shalom. Durud and Shalom.
Shalom.
Yes. Okay, let's see what he says.
Them there that our enrichment is not for sale. This is something the people of Iran for 20 years have endured sanctions for. Scientists have.
The people of Iran did not decide to endure sanctions for. You made that decision for them. Did you ask them? Like, the Iranian people endured sanctions for the enriched uranium. Well, did they want to? Did you ask them if they want that? What do you think the Iranian people would have decided between enrichment of uranium and not living in a country that is isolated from the rest of the world? Like, oh, the Iranian people endured it. Yeah, without that, they didn't make that decision. They didn't have a say. They wanted to have a normal relationship with the rest of the world. He says the Iranian people endured sanctions for the sake of enriched uranium is as if they voted for this, as if they made like, yes, please, we will endure the sanctions, keep enriching. Where did they decide this? Did you ask them? Was there a referendum? Are the government, are the politicians in the Islamic Republic a representative of the people? Do you have free and fair elections? You don't. Look, they endured.
The implication is that if you are not IRGC, you are not people.
You are not people. Yes, exactly. If you're not,
It's dehumanizing.
Exactly. That's you get Monkey. You're becoming an expert in politics, in Iranian politics. You make some points that I forget to make. Shauna just gave us a super chat saying Europeans always insult Americans because their egos can't grapple with the fact that deplorables went forward and made a shining city on a hill. Okay. Well, I know exactly the kind of people you're talking about, Shauna. To be fair, though, not all Europeans, especially with this World Cup, we saw how many Europeans were celebrating Americans. So many Europeans for sure, but again, there are also many Europeans who celebrate Americans for sure.
There are many Europeans that also changed their mind from that because they saw that they were getting gaslit. Like that is true. Like her statement is true, but luckily, some people are waking up to the fact that you know what, we're not deplorables. Like they've been gaslit, a lot of them, into thinking that, and I'm glad that that statement is becoming less true among them with time. I hope it becomes a majority.
True. This is why tourism and cultural exchange and these stuff like really works. In culture and spreading culture is important. Oh, Stunner just became a member. Welcome to our group. Thank you for joining. And also Amir just gifted 5 memberships to the people in the chat. So 5 people are now members because of Amir's gift basket. Thank you so much, Amir. I appreciate that. All right, let's continue.
Shed their blood. Can we sell it?
The Iranians are saying
Well,
publicly.
here's the thing: if you can't sell it because people have shed blood for it, please continue shedding blood for it until you don't have any blood left. Just please don't sacrifice the blood of the Iranian people. Sacrifice your own blood for the sake of enriched uranium until there's nothing left. Thank you.
The
If they could sell the blood, they'd
understanding
sell it.
is
They sell the hair.
Oh yeah, sure. You're right. Actually, that's dark.
The Iranians are saying publicly that the memorandum of understanding is suspended. Regional countries are reportedly pushing for another agreement, as Secretary of State Marco Rubio indicated the diplomatic path forward remains open.
I think we're always open to diplomacy. It has to be real. It has to be a deal that they're willing to live by. Look, Iran,
So this is to me, Marco speak that there is no deal. They're like, yeah, sure, we have a deal if these people stop being scumbags. Or like, basically, that's another way of saying there's not going to be any deal. Do you have the same reading? Like, sure, we have a deal if when pigs fly. That's the way I'm reading.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sure. As soon as they stand by it, but they can't do that for 2 days. That's why we kept their corn. They're not getting the hay for the haydar. They're not getting the corn. Nothing is popping. The only thing that's popping is the bombs. No popcorn, no hay, and we're keeping the oil money.
There you go.
we could go with
Marco Rubio indicated the diplomatic path forward remains open.
I think we're always open to diplomacy. It has to be real. It has to be a deal that they're willing to live by. Look, Iran a week ago was supposed to put out a statement saying that the Straits of Hormuz would be open, that they would no longer attack shipping. And instead of doing that, they attacked 3 ships. I think that was last Friday or Saturday. So, I mean, their behavior has to change in order for ours to change.
All of this comes as the Israeli military remains on high alert. There are uncertain days ahead. Just yesterday, Israeli air defense systems in the southern part of this country worked to shoot down debris from incoming Iranian missiles that targeted the southern Jordanian city of Aqaba. Guys?
Okay, Trey Yings, thank you.
Okay, so here's the update. Let me show you the update on the Islamic Republic's missile attacks, because things are escalating even more. But before that, Shauna gave another super chat saying, I know I only meant the political elites. Yep. Kisses to the people of Europe and Scandinavia and the British Islands. Oh, that's very sweet.
And you know what? That's also very true that no one should misinterpret it, because I do get to talk to her in the group discussions, and we do stay a little longer afterwards sometimes. And I know for a fact that she has a lot of love for also tracing our lineage to them, like how we're connected. So I'm absolutely sure she meant most of that the elites are sometimes spreading that kind of message about us, but she's got a lot of love for those people. Absolutely.
Nice, guys. Yeah, this is actually a good reminder that we have a a lot of the people like Shana that you see in the chat, we talk with each other in our group call. So and our group call is in our discussion group. We have daily group calls in our discussion group, and you could find the discussion group in the QR code in the top left and in the link in the description. So yeah, come talk to us over there. We're always there. Okay, so let's see. Let's continue. This is the Islamic Republic's response.
So the Department of War just confirmed the identity of 2 active duty soldiers who were killed in Operation Inherent Resolve. It's 25-year-old First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan and 19-year-old Private Isabella Gonzalez. Meanwhile, the
Oh my God, 19? Do you say? What?
soldiers who were killed in Operation Inherent Resolve. It's 25-year-old First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan and 19-year-old Private Isabella Gonzalez. Meanwhile, the
Oh my God. Jesus Christ, 19.
United States retaliating with the 9th straight night of strikes on Iranian military sites.
Alexandria Hoff is at the White House with the latest for us. Alex?
Good morning to you. 19 and 25 years old. That is a hard pill to swallow this morning. But the current air campaign against Iran right now, this is really punishments for the specific IRGC factions that have targeted U.S. air bases, including that base in Jordan that proved to be so deadly. Now, circulating video of what is believed to be those strikes was released by the Associated Press. The Pentagon confirming.
Did he say 19? The 19-year-old was Isabella? So it was.
I think so. Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's probably a Latina. There's a lot of Latinas in America, and that she's probably serving. And these things, it's tragic every time. But you have like most of these people are very young. Like service is usually 18 to 25. Is like I would guess the average age. I'm just taking a stab in the dark, but that's my guess of what the average age is. Like right there.
She was a
30,
teenager.
yeah. If you're going career, you might go farther than that and stay until retirement. But that's by the time you're that age, you've built up enough experience to transition into a good job, and you know that's the average age though. They're all very young. These are very young. We have like around between 9 and 19,000 infantry that we could deploy there. There's about another 10 to 15,000 that are just working the ships and the jets and all the other equipment. So there's a lot of people out there, and they are very young. Most of them are very young.
My God.
U.S. air bases, including that base in Jordan that proved to be so deadly. Now, circulating video of what is believed to be those strikes was released by the Associated Press. The Pentagon confirming this weekend that the 2 U.S. service members were killed, leaving a third missing, though unidentified remains have been found. That person is still unidentified at this time. The president, though, is expressing profound grief for this.
Well, we feel very badly, but you know, those great people, those great patriots were out there fighting that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. But we hit them very hard again tonight. And we did that in honor of the probably 3. It's probably 3 as opposed to 2 great patriots.
The continuation of U.S. strikes focus on IRGC weapons hubs and command centers. The Secretary Rubio speaks to the losses as well.
And it's heartbreaking, and our hearts go out to these families. These are heroes that pay the ultimate price. We also lost a service member in Iraq unrelated to combat. They were decommissioning a munition, and an accident happened in that process. And
I mean, that is still a murder by the Islamic Republic because the drone was sent by the Islamic Republic. Even if it wasn't, if he wasn't killed on impact, it's still they were still trying to.
That would still be intent.
Yeah, that would still be an intent. Yeah, exactly. That pay the ultimate price. We also lost a service member in Iraq unrelated to combat. They were decommissioning a munition, and an accident happened in that process, and they were harmed.
That separate death took place in northern Iraq and occurred, according to the Pentagon, during controlled detonation of an Iranian drone. Now, President Trump is also looking to add more squeeze to Iran financially as well, pressing Republicans to add Iran to a pending Senate bill aimed at Russia. The president writing on Truth Social, Republicans should add Iran to the Russia sanctions bill. That's what Lindsey, he's referencing Lindsey Graham there, wanted to do, and it was going to happen. Important.
I mean, I don't understand why there are still sanctions to be put on the Islamic Republic that hasn't been. Like, shouldn't we be putting all the available sanctions in the Islamic Republic? Like, why is this not there yet?
Democrats.
And okay.
Now, right now,
And my understanding of U.S. politics is that there are sanctions that the president could put on the Islamic Republic, and then the sanctions that the House and the Senate could do, and the ones that are from the House and the Senate are more permanent and more meaningful than the ones from the president. That's why it's important to get the House and Senate to do these things, not just the president, because the ones that the president does is like more temporary and more easily removable. Is that a correct understanding?
I believe so, yes, because the next president, be it a Democrat, could remove the sanctions that are done by executive order. What we're talking about here is executive order versus congressional and Senate approved measures. It's a very different thing, and as you said, more permanent.
Okay.
Lindsey Graham there wanted to do, and it was going to happen. Important. Now, right now, they are hoping to bring up the Russian sanctions bill before August recess.
So the Russian sanctions bill is on top of the itself is going to make it difficult to have, because I know, Monkey, you said like we could have oil from Venezuela and Alaska to basically give enough cushion for the United States to make up for the oil reserves, because right now one of the things that makes Americans hesitant on going all out against Islamic Republic is that the strategic oil reserves are lower than before. You suggested that they could ramp up production from Venezuela and Alaska and other places, maybe Iraq, now that Iraq is getting, had a lot of trade agreements now with the United States. But I was wondering how fast that could get on. And also, is it going to be enough, given that the sanctions on Russia means that Russia's oil is going to be not accessible as well? So is it going to be making all of that extra production? Will it be enough to make up for the loss of Russian oil and also the instability around the Persian Gulf? And how long would that take? Would that even be enough for just an immediate response to the Islamic Republic?
Well, the short answer is no. The short answer is no. The amount of oil that can be moved by ship at this point, at that junction, within the Persian Gulf, it's too much for us to offset. We are getting to 20% more, and that's great. There are also things being done in UK. So I think it's Scotland or some northern shale oil can be opened up, but that's not done yet. So what we're doing is ramping up. Will we be able to ramp up enough in 2 months, by, let's say, October? August, September, October. How much time do we have? Well, you know what? It could happen. There could be a great deal of investment that gets that flowing. There could be a lot of work done with refineries, with opening up more wells. This is a financial boom for the oil industry. There's no doubt about that. But there is long-term strategies that must be sought so that this is not a problem anymore. One of them is the UK opening up some oil. I think there is in Scandinavia or the Netherlands, somewhere up there. There's also reserves that could be tapped, and I think we have to go all out and in getting these tree-hugging hippies to stop us, mostly funded by outside forces that want us to not have our energy independence and make it all, tied to these autocrats. We got to get away from that and get into the European sphere having some energy independence, the American sphere having energy independence, and being able to offset the output of any autocrats that choose to do this kind of terroristic strategy to control the oil markets.
I got the picture of Isabella Gonzalez, the fallen soldier. This is her.
Yep,
U.S. Army.
that's yeah, but she like let me take a closer look. Let me move my screen over
She's
here.
19. She was 19.
Yes, but she's like very obviously a Latina, a beautiful young Latina starting her life. It's a tragic loss. Private, which means, well, this picture might have been taken when she started her career, but a very young person. These are very young people. Like I was very young when I entered. Like these are young, mostly young people. The thing is, they learn a lot very quickly, a lot of responsibility. But yeah, this is a patriot. I believe she was a Texan. Someone said in the chat. I'm not absolutely sure,
Yep.
but
Let me read the. You want me to read the caption?
Go ahead, please.
It Isabella Gonzalez, 19, of Carlton, Texas. I don't know if I read that right. Was identified earlier today as one of the fatalities from last week's Iranian ballistic missile strike on Muwafaq Salti Air Base in Jordan. Private Gonzalez was assigned to the 1st Battalion, 57th Air Defense Artillery Regiment, 52nd Air Defense Artillery, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce, Brigade, 10th Army Air Missile Defense Command, based out of Germany. I don't know how to pronounce that city in Germany. So that was, yes, she was from Texas.
I mean, it's a great loss. We value human life to the extent of unimaginable potential. So, you know, I personally believe that this person had unimaginable potential. We have no idea the kind of impact she could have had in society. There are artists, scientists, entrepreneurs that go on to create benefits that you know, are good for the whole world, and that potential is lost the second that death is what happens, right? The second that you meet death, all possibility ends. So that is why it's so tragic. And I have my condolences to the family and friends.
Yeah. Sorry for you. Condolences to everybody who's impacted by this. All right, let's continue with this.
Now, right now, they're hoping to bring up the Russian sanctions bill before August recess. So we'll see if there is any movement on that, guys. Send it back to you.
All right, thanks so much. So you include Iran. Anyone deal with Iran, we get massive sanctions. That's a double hit on China. So if the president does do that, does that jeopardize his President Xi's trip here in September, where the Secretary of State's going over there now to kind of set the groundwork for that? So we'll see. But in other words, if China continues to deal with Russia, we sanction China. India continues to deal with Russia, sanction India. And anyone who deals with Iran, that's a double sanction on
Which is going
China.
to become complicated. As we know, the Indian prime minister has a great relationship with the president. So this is definitely this is where the rubber is going to meet the road. Meanwhile,
be sure to like and subscribe.
So here, Marco Rubio is right now saying a lot about what's happening. So we could go to Marco Rubio. But before that, we got another super chat that I want to respond to. Shauna is saying Latinos make up about 20% of the U.S., 30 to 40% in Sunbelt, and are overrepresented in the military. And those are just the official numbers. Oh, interesting.
Yes, per capita, I think there is a great number of Latinos that are in the service. We are one of the highest serving here in Puerto Rico. And like I found many Puerto Ricans when I was in service, and this is absolutely true. This is just a fact. Like when you go per capita, absolutely, this is a fact. We're overrepresented greatly. And we do like the structure, the service, the being part of something. That's great. And I think the American military does provide that to some extent. It's also an undeniable opportunity for many people who are seeking a career in something that's real. Like, many people join, and because this is the most advanced military on earth, they go on from serving their country to serving their communities and their states and the nation in many great ways.
It's amazing. Great Americans, all of them. Thank you for all their service. Marco Rubio here talking about what the Islamic Republic was supposed to do and didn't, which led to the escalation.
Diplomatic off ramp still? Do you believe that
I think we're always open to diplomacy. It has to be real. It has to be a deal that they're willing to live by.
So I think this is a more complete version of that quote. So this part we've already heard.
Look, Iran a week ago was supposed to put out a statement saying that the Straits of Hormuz would be open, that they would no longer attack shipping. And instead of doing that, they attacked 3 ships. I think that was last Friday or Saturday. So, I mean, their behavior has to change in order for ours to change.
diplomatic off ramp still?
Their behavior has to change in order for ours to change. Well, it's not. Yeah, we know that. It's not going to change.
They don't stand by anything they say. So that's basically what he's directly citing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think he knows it. Let me see what is supposed to happen. More of what's supposed to happen.
MOU dead, or are we just back in full scale war?
Well, they're not complying with it. I mean, the straits are supposed to be open, free of tolls, free of attack, free of all the things they're doing against these ships. So they can't have an MOU that's alive if they're violating the terms of it. What I will say is that the United States always remains open to a diplomatic solution. We've tried multiple times with Iran, and we'll continue to try. If that door opens, we'll be happy to see it open.
MOU dead.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to keep saying that. And we also know that the behavior, the nature of the Islamic Republic is in their DNA. It's not going to change. So you can keep having that door open, but it's not going to change their behavior.
Never. I don't think they're, like, we've talked about this, and that's because, like, just by being in contact with so many Iranians in the diaspora and some that are still in Iran, we know that the Islamic Republic's, the IRGC occupying force, is not going to let go of its grip, because it is not the majority's supported government. It is not a force for a representation of the people. So the only grip it has is its militaristic and apocalyptic intent on the world. It's want to dominate and control, and they're not going to let that go. It's their nature. They're not going to let it go.
The only thing that changes is what they say, but what they do will remain the same. But they
Exactly.
yeah. Oh, in fact, Marco Rubio here saying the exact same thing over here.
To be open, free of tolls, free of attack, free of all the things they're doing against these ships. So they can't have an MOU that's alive if they're violating the terms of it. What I will say is that the United States always remains open to a diplomatic solution. We've tried multiple times with Iran, and we'll continue to try. If that door opens, we'll be happy to see it open. But and they continue to send signals that they want to talk, that they want to negotiate.
They continue to send signals that they want to talk, that they want to negotiate.
But their behavior is what we're responding to, and their behavior is they're launching missiles and drones against ships, including tonight.
You know, we knew from day one that this is going to happen. That what they will send the signals, but their behavior will always be the same. Yeah, guys,
Like,
this was the highest. Yeah, go on.
No, I was just going to say, what they're doing is, when you stop, I'll stop. And if you stop and wait for them to stop, they're not going to stop. So they're going to keep going and say, hey, when you stop, I'll stop. And okay, I'll stop then. They're not going to stop. They just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. When you stop attacking, we'll stop attacking. Okay, I'll stop. And they keep attacking and keep attacking. And then they come back and say, no, 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 no. This time for real, when you stop, I'll stop. But they keep going. They keep attacking, keep attacking, keep attacking.
Yeah. And you there's a super chat, and also you hired a. By the way, guys, I know this video was low volume. I put it on Mac, so I'm not going to use this source anymore. That's why I was repeating it, because I noticed it was low volume. But the next one wouldn't be low volume, hopefully. But Monkey, there's a super chat for that is addressing you, and also you start a comment. You want to respond to those?
Yes. Well, first with the super chat, let me highlight it. Sean is saying, also, Monkey, don't forget that almost all Latinos have indigenous ancestry, so it's literally defending their homeland. Yeah, like when we get attacked over here, when our economy is attacked, when our soldiers are attacked, when we're trying to do global business from the people that are American and are Native American and are Latino Americans, like we are Americans. And this extends to the grip that the IRGC is trying to have all over Latino America. Like we can't forget that these people are tied to cartels. We can't forget that these people were in Cuba, in Venezuela, in Colombia. Like these people have ties all over the world, especially in Latino American countries. So when they start, when the decapitators in the IRGC and the killers in the IRGC start training and funding and helping the cartel decapitators, like this is just a blight on all of us, on all Latin America, on all Central America, and we are kind of defending ourselves by joining America in this effort. And there's another comment here that I wanted to highlight. So I love Mexican people and culture, but they have to come here legally. Okay, so here's the thing. This is a good comment, but I'll have you know that the ones that are here legally are being disenfranchised by illegal immigration. Like the ones that are here legally, when you have these illegal immigrants come in because of bad policy, there are a lot of Latinos that are conservative. There are a lot of Latinos that even if they lean a little Democrat, they're also not in support of the flag-waving DSA, Hamas flag-waving DSA guy that's a socialist. They got away from that. So when you let an illegal vote without an ID, you're probably disenfranchising a Latino that would prefer someone like Fetterman over someone like, I don't know, Rashida Tlaib or Ilhan Omar, right? So you're taking away that person's right to choose too, not you, the people that promote these voting without ID, giving everyone an ID that is illegal, and not stating whether they're that's why they're trying to do the SAVE Act, so that us as Latinos and the Black community doesn't get disenfranchised, because the Democrats that Latinos and Black people want to choose are being pushed out by this DSA that are loved by the illegals, and the conservatives within the Black community and the Latino community are being disenfranchised by all this illegal vote. That's why you got to get out the vote. And when it comes this midterm, we got to make it too big to rig.
Okay. Thank you for that. You are all 100% true. And then we got Zip Gun with a super chat saying, I believe the new Colombian president asked Rubio for help with Petro. Thoughts? Okay.
Yes.
Mike, you want to respond to this? Yeah.
Yes. There is a large turn towards conservatism. A lot of people think that it's because USA was funding a lot of the left-wing campaigns, but there is a lot of a big turn towards conservatism in these nations. Some of them have oil, and they would rather do that than work with cartels and do the bad things, right? So I believe this is true. And that's more and more nations turning on the spigots, turning on their refineries and ramping up production or starting production would be something that can offset, depending on how fast it can be done. It also makes the markets, because they're forward looking, have a better outlook.
Okay. Thank you, Zip Gun, and thank you, Monkey. I did find the video, the higher volume version of the one that you guys were telling me. Yeah, here, this one. This is the part that I wanted to highlight.
To see it open, but right, and they continue to send signals that they want to talk, that they want to negotiate. but their behavior is what we're responding to. And their behavior is they're launching missiles and drones against ships, including tonight. Happy to see it.
Yeah, so everybody is noticing what we already knew from day one, that they talk and talk and talk and talk, but every time they talk, they lie, and their behavior is going to be the same.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay. This is an honest mistake because a lot of places in the world they call petroleum petro.
you want to read the
But
comment?
he is correct. Zipgun is telling me Petro is the old president. Yes, that he wanted help. He did. Yes, he wanted help with the old president. I do believe Colombia has some oil though, so he probably wants the new president probably wants help with that too. But wanting help with the old president is probably meaning to the ties that the old president has to the cartels and this type of thing, to the left aligned basically crime elements that tend to pop up because the left kind of allows it. So that's probably because this is probably about the shield of the Americas, and that's something that Rubio is very much a part of.
So guys, what I'm gonna do, if the super chat is about the topic that we're talking about right now, I'm gonna respond to it now. And if it's about a topic not relevant to what we're highlighting, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna keep it for a separate segment, so where we don't keep switching topics. I think that's what we're gonna do. But I'm gonna save it. Like, it's not gonna go to waste. But we're gonna go once the segment that we're in is over. Like the Iran stuff is over, then we're gonna go and highlight them after we're done here, right? So what I was saying here was Marco Rubio is basically mentioning the thing that we were talking about regarding the fact that the Islamic Republic's behavior is not changing, even though they kept on sending signals that they want to deal or not. And hopefully, but some people might criticize the United States and say, well, didn't you already know that from the beginning? Shouldn't you have known that the Islamic Republic nature doesn't change at all, even if they give you signals? Well, the thing is that it doesn't really matter what Marco Rubio knows. This needs to be demonstrated, right? Because we live in a democracy, and you cannot force things on the American citizen, and honestly, and on the rest of the world either. This needs to be demonstrated. And let's look at this. I think the next comment here by Marco Rubio also highlights that.
But I do think the world is coming to a point now where it's clear that Iran, at least some people in Iran, want to control the Strait and hold that as leverage against the world. And the world has to decide whether or not it's going to allow an international waterway to be under the control of a country like that. It's completely illegal.
By the way, I don't know why they keep recording these right next to an engine of an airplane. I don't know why is that a thing all the time, but I will read the caption.
Unlawful and unacceptable. The United States will continue to do what it needs to protect global shipping, but other countries need to begin to step up and provide, whether it's hardware or finances, to help carry that burden.
I mean, it should be easy for these reporters to bring a van or something with them, a giant ass like a bus or something. I'm like, can you step inside for 5 minutes while we like isolate the sound or something?
They won't do that.
Here's a cat.
They're like catching him at the you know how to do the paparazzi? They're doing him like the pops. Hey, now that you're here, let me ask you a question. And he may stop and answer a few questions, but that's what's going on. That's why what they should have is better sound isolation.
Right, exactly. So
because some of them did good, some of them did terrible.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I'll read the caption. Marco Rubio is saying, I do think the world is coming to a point now, coming to a point now where it's clear that Iran, at least some people in Iran, want to control the Straits and hold it as leverage against the world, not just against the United States, but the world. And the world has to decide whether or not it's going to allow an international waterway to be under the control of a country like this. It would be completely illegal, unlawful, and unacceptable. The United States will continue to do what it needs to protect global shipping, but other countries need to begin to step up and provide, whether it's hardware or finance, to help carry the burden. So the obvious criticism, which I have the response to, is like, well, this is what people will jump in response to this and attack Marco Rubio by saying, well, there was no problem with the Strait of Hormuz before you guys got in. And the obvious response to that is, yeah, well, if the Islamic Republic is controlling the Strait of Hormuz now and is closing it now, obviously this means that once eventually when they get a nuclear weapon, this would be the obvious thing that they would do, because then nobody would be able to respond. So what you're experiencing right now is a small taste of what would have come eventually when the Islamic Republic knew that it has enough deterrence with a nuclear weapon, where nobody would be able to respond to it closing the Strait of Hormuz. So one way or another, the Islamic Republic would have closed the Strait of Hormuz. The question is, did you want them to do it at a time where you can respond, or at a time where you can't respond? That's my response. But what, do you have anything to respond to that?
No, I agree completely.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Guys, remember that answer, because this is something the comedians, like leftist comedians and people on social media, are like, oh, you want to close the Strait of Hormuz? Do you want to open the Strait of Hormuz? Well, it was already open before you went to war. No, you idiot. This was inevitable. So you should tell people that. Just remember that answer. Oh, here's another comment by Rubio. He has like some really good takes here.
I mean, Iran's economy is in shambles. 300% inflation.
God. You know what? Maybe I should just read the caption, huh? The audio is so bad. So Marco Rubio is saying Iran is a rich country. One of the reason why Iran is in shambles is because every penny that this regime ever gets, be it through sanctions relief or through the oil they're able to get out, they invested in Hezbollah, they invested in Hamas. They should be spending billions of dollars building their country, but instead they used it to sponsor terrorism. You know, he's exactly right. People are like, oh, the Iranian people are suffering because of sanctions. Every time we give them some sanction removal, the first thing that the money is spent on is on Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis and Hashishabi and Zainabi and Fatimi and Katoib and all of that. They use it to spread terrorism. Like, what do you expect? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but also, you know what I don't get when people are against the sanctions? The people who are against the sanctions are also against military operations against the Islamic Republic. So what do you want to do? You want to just the Islamic, because I mean, I think there's only three options. Yeah, you either do nothing when the Islamic Republic sponsors terrorism and basically promotes terrorism and kills Americans and Israelis and everyone else. You either do nothing, or you do economic pressure, or you do military operations. So if you're against military operations and against economic pressure, then what do you want to do? Do you want just the Islamic Republic just continue to support evil and with no response? Probably that's what they want.
They want to destroy America. That's why I know the answer. These people hate America. They want the destruction of America. They say it in their little DSA meetings. They make it very open. They hate America. That's why.
So you're saying not only they don't want to stop the Islamic Republic, they actually want to encourage the Islamic Republic to continue to attack America. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. They seek the utter destruction of America. They will back anything that's anti-America bad is their policy. So whatever is good for America, they oppose. Whatever is bad for America, they support. The Islamic Republic is bad for America. The IRGC is terrible for America, so they support it. Russia and Ukraine, what's happening with Russia and Ukraine, well, Ukraine defending itself is good for America, so they're supporting us stepping away from that and letting Ukraine fall to Russia. So they support that. They want us out of that fight. So they support the CCP having more power over the Philippines and creating little islands to extend their waterline. And they support the efforts of the CCP all over the Indo-Pacific. So, whatever is bad for America, they support. They're just basically contrarians. That's their whole philosophy. They don't have thoughts. They have reactions, right? It's not like they're thinking hard about, well, what if this, then that? No. America bad. That's as deep as their thought goes.
Yeah, perfectly said. Sarah just gave us a super chat saying, for Isabella Gonzalez, may she rest in peace. Yes, guys, for people who are joining us now, this is Private Isabella Gonzalez, who is one of 3 Fallons. I'm trying to find the pictures and the names of the other two while doing the show at the same time. She was 19 only. She's a hero. She's a patriot, and the United States is gonna miss her, obviously, and condolences to her family and friends and everyone else impacted. And thank you, Sarah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. Okay.
I think we had another one there we could maybe take a look at.
Another what? A super chat? Yes. Fleshy Interloper, thank you so much for the super chat saying let Russia fall to Ukraine. Slovenia. Yeah, 100%.
That's very possible lately. Like, have the Ukrainians are hitting Russia so hard that Russia might just lose Crimea. Like, it's the strength of the Ukrainian forces, the way that it's increased and adapted, is just outstanding.
Yes, I mean, Russia. When Putin falls, Russia will rise. So let Putin fall so that Russia could rise, hopefully one day. And yes, hopefully Ukraine could help with that.
This is where Jeff would say Putin's criminalized counterintel state, not the Russian people.
Yes. And Sarah with a super chat saying for confetti and Armin and our chat, Javid Shah. Thank you, Sarah. Always being so kind and supportive.
Javid Shah.
Javid Shah. Okay. Okay, let's see. Look at this.
We're between segments. No, okay, let's go back to it.
Oh yeah, So Marco Rubio here is talking. This is interesting language that they're using because he's saying he was talking about the rest of the world need to realize that we cannot accept the Islamic Republic controlling the Strait of Hormuz. That should not be normalized. That should not be accepted. I also think that people should keep in mind that if this is accepted, we're going to be looking at the Strait of Malacca as well in China over there, if this becomes an accepted thing. And now he's also saying the United States is it's not the United States' job to protect the entire planet. It seems like they are pushing for more countries getting involved against the Islamic Republic. This is the type of language that suggests that maybe they're pushing for that. Let me see what he's saying.
But other countries need to step up and provide whether
other countries need to step up.
hardware or financing to help carry that burden. It is not the United States' job to protect citizens in the entire planet forever.
Is it your understanding that the United States is right now trying to push to try to encourage other countries to get involved in defending against the Islamic Republic?
I think the push is for them to take over so we can move our forces in. Right, we can't be everywhere, but maybe the places where we were in the Mediterranean, the places where we were in the Indo-Pacific, in the Atlantic, and that's where we would want a little bit of backup so that those places aren't left alone while we can let our forces move in. You know what? I shared an image. Maybe you want to share it, and I can go over some of the plans that could be. This is all possibilities that could be happening. And if we have time, I don't know if we have time. I put it there in the share. If you want to go over it a little bit.
Okay. You want let's do that. But before that, you want to respond to the super chat, and then we'll go to you sharing that. How long would that take?
I don't. Maybe a minute or two, maybe two.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Okay, yeah, let's definitely do that then. What is it? Yeah.
The argument goes like this, says Zipgun. We can't force the IRGC to do anything, but we can influence U.S. and Israel. They lament the oppressed suffer. They are willing to sacrifice the future for the present. Yes, this is some of the arguments that they make. They may not believe it, but this is like some of the like the things that they say when they like the America bad people. When they try to convince others. They said, we can't force the IRGC to do anything. We can influence U.S. and Israel to stop, right? So that's what they're trying to do. And they claim that they care for the oppressed, but not the oppressed Iranians, right? You know, that's kind of like their argument. It's not a good argument, but I think that's what they're doing.
So my impression is that they do not care for the oppressed. They want to be revolutionaries and heroes in the story, in the imaginary story that they have written, but they want all the positive emotions associated with being a revolutionary, but without all of the costs of being being an actual revolutionary. So they want to basically offshore the suffering to these people and only have the positive feelings associated with supporting a revolution without actually having the cost of having a roof being coming down on your head and watching your child die in front of you, or bleed, you're watching your wife bleed out in front of you. They want to offshore all of that to these people in Gaza or other people, while they get the positive feeling of being heroes in their own made up stories. That's my impression of what's happening.
Well, we know that, we know how that turns out, because they think they're waving their little banners and having their little tweet sessions is going to get them some kind of position of power. Also, like they don't want to share in the alleged struggle, but they think that they're going to get some kind of position in the future. But all those people that helped the mullahs, how did things work out for all those leftists? They were all killed. They were all executed, weren't they? It did not go well for them. Right. All right. So over here, what we're looking at, I mean, if you look at this, what you can see is our troop movements here, right? How many ships we have in the area. Total forces, we have 29 ships. That's a lot of ships. Personnel that we have right now is between, 20 and 22,000, give or take, right? So we can see that right over here. Looking at these totals, the ship, the personnel, land troops, we have 8 to 9,000, but we can hit a button and get 1,000 more. So that takes it up to 18 to 19,000 land troops. We also have around 800 to 1,200 ground vehicles, 15 hovercrafts, around 110 jets, up to 85 helicopters, between 24 and 28 Ospreys. These are the tilt rotor helicopters that we have there. Between 300 and 600 drones, depends on what kind of drones we're talking about, and between 350 and 425 pilots, 427 around there. These are the ships that are in the area, right? These are all the ships. We have some over here guarding Israel and the Mediterranean, and we have the USS Gonzalez in the Red Sea. All right, so what could happen is that there be a surge from the bottom to the top, right? And you start training and vetting all over the South and passing control of these cities to people that have been trained and vetted to stand for the people and against the IRGC. Eventually, what you want to do is make a deal with the transitional government so that you get Pickaxe Mountain, Esfahan. I forget the number. There's 2 more sites that are in granite that are hardened. But them two, what you would want is to have a deal with the Americans where we have a base there and they get our protection and our help making sure that the oil and resources, their rare earth minerals, any type of business that's done that is done fairly and within open trade, instead of having secret deals where the oil goes to China at a bottom dollar and the only people that get the money are the IRGC. So if this turns out to be the plan, and I'm not saying it is, this is just me having some wishful thinking, the way to sell this as a long-term good and goal and having this region stay stabilized is if we get in during the transitional period control of those bunkers for good reasons. Like, we know they were hiding some bad stuff in there. So we're the only ones that can't even go in. And if we start getting all that stuff out and we get a deal where, look, we can help you make sure you're stable so that you don't turn into what happened in Libya or what happened in Syria at some points, or what happened in Iraq at its worst times. So just to make sure none of that happens at any point, we could have a deal with the transitional government so that we get that. Just like we have bases in Iraq, we have bases all over, we could have some bases there. And that could be a long-term goal for stability so that Iran stays stable and we have like a foothold where we don't have to worry about the Europeans granting us base space.
Okay. Did you make that map yourself?
Yes, it took me, oh my God, that's why I was like 15 minutes late dealing with that. Like just trying to get the forces right, getting the numbers right, getting it in the right position, make sure I had the right map with the lion and sun rising from the south to the north. And yeah, it took me a while, but I think it was worth it. I think it kind of explains the battle space and the personnel and what we're dealing, the equipment that we're dealing with.
It's beautiful. I like it. Good
I'll
job.
send
Thank
it to
you
you.
for doing that.
I'll send it to
Yes,
you.
thank you. Thank you. That's nice. Guys, you guys like this? You know, Monkey spent so much time and beautiful line and stuff. Like, really, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Love it.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be of service, guys. Chat, all of you people, love you guys. You're getting monkey hugs.
Oh. Okay. All right. Well, let's bring people up to speed a little bit, and then I'll give you an interesting new news that happened just a few hours ago.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. A ninth consecutive night of U.S. strikes hit Iran overnight. According to CENTCOM, military command centers, surveillance sites, maritime capabilities, surveillance systems, and drone and missile launch positions were hit. The strikes do come after 3 U.S. service members were killed by an Iranian ballistic missile attack in Jordan on Friday. The U.S. military still working to identify the third soldier. A fourth soldier was killed in northern Iraq during a controlled detonation of an unexploded Iranian drone. President Trump reacted.
Wait, so 4 in total, not 3? Let's go back, make the count. So it's 4. Hold on.
Maritime capabilities, surveillance systems, and drone and missile launch positions were hit. The strikes do come after 3 U.S. service members were killed by an Iranian ballistic missile attack in Jordan on Friday. The U.S. military still working to identify the third soldier. A fourth soldier was killed in northern Iraq during a controlled detonation.
Okay, so I guess the missing person was also confirmed dead then. So that makes it a total of 4.
I don't like I'm not super sure because there's also what happened in Iraq, and they're saying there's someone that's not identified, which is different from missing. So I don't want to say for sure, but we do see that it was kind of devastating, and we should have some kind of reply and defense to this. We do need to maybe harden some of these positions, or just what I've been saying, best way to honor these people and the people that have fallen to IRGC and its prosecutors before is to just finish the job.
Yeah.
Of an unexploded Iranian drone. President Trump reacted to the deaths of these soldiers on Sunday.
We feel very badly, but those great people, those great patriots are out there fighting that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Iran has been very, very badly damaged. They've lost everything almost militarily. We control the strait. They don't control anything. So we'll see what happens.
President Trump told Fox News last week that if Iran doesn't reach a deal, strikes will escalate this week to hit power plants and bridges. Iranian officials, including some of the negotiators, remain defiant.
You can neither threaten us nor bribe us. In the negotiations before the 12-day war, they had come to bribe. Not to bribe me, to bribe the Islamic Republic, saying we will do this and that. We will build this and that.
The Iranians are saying publicly the memorandum of understanding is suspended. Regional countries are reportedly pushing for another agreement, as Secretary of State Marco Rubio indicated the diplomatic path forward remains open.
I think we're always open to diplomacy. It has to.
Yeah, I think so. We saw this part already, but here's the major news that happened. So the Houthis have announced that the naval blockade on Saudi Arabia from the Red Sea. This is big. This is going to get the bubble mandab involved. This is going to escalate things on to a much higher level. If it is a meaningful. Like, we have to see, because sometimes these people are just, barking, but there's not that much bite. All talk, yeah, exactly. Gundaguzi, as we call it. But they just announced the sea navigation ban on Saudi Arabia. So this is going to escalate. We'll see if Pakistan will have to get involved with. This is a nightmare scenario for Pakistan.
Wait a minute. Gundaguzi is loud fart, right?
Yes, Gundaguzi is loud farts, which means that I'll
Okay.
talk, but no. Yes.
Let's hear the loud fart.
Okay, let's hear. I mean, it's in Arabic.
في الخروج المليوني العظيم في جمعة التحذير والنفير وما سبقها من تجمعات ووقفات قبلية كبيرة، فإن القوات المسلحة اليمنية تؤكد على الآتي. أولا.
Oh my God! Do you?
That is a loud fart. That was loud. We need to put a jet next to this guy.
Oh my God, that's so aggressive. Yes, that was. Do you want some more, guys? You want some more? Here's some more.
تعلن القوات المسلحة اليمنية حظر الملاحة البحرية.
Jesus, calm down.
He's very upset.
He's very angry. What the hell? Okay, so stop it. Yeah, but so this is I don't know how serious this is, but this will look at the captions. Like, this move essentially cuts off Saudi oil exports through the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. If this is serious, if the Houthis are even remotely successful, then we're basically moving to another. This escalates things a lot more, and we're moving to a whole other level, because this will put, now with the Strait of Hormuz, we also have Saudi oil being challenged, because a lot of the reason why there wasn't a lot of pressure on the oil markets, other than everybody using their oil reserves, is the Saudis' east-west pipeline that takes oil out of the Persian Gulf and brings it to the Red Sea. And the ones that at least go to China go down from the Bab el-Mandeb to China. This is going to make China also. This is really bad for China, because at the same, we have the sanctions on Russia, we have the blockade and the sanctions back on the Islamic Republic, and now Saudi oil is also going to be not accessible to the Chinese. If this is successful, this is a very, very devastating situation. I don't know if the oil. I know the Chinese have a huge oil reserve. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Let me see what oil price.
Wait a minute. So what you're telling me is the IRGC is sanctioning China through the Houthis.
Yeah.
Is this why they haven't used the Houthis before? They want to let China get their oil? Is that part of the reason they're not in play?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's multiple things that makes the Islamic Republic not wanting to hold back on using this card. One is they don't want to make the Chinese angry. Two, they don't want to make the Pakistanis angry, because the Pakistanis are one of their last remaining mediators and friends here. And the Pakistanis, this is going to drag the Pakistanis into war if it escalates. If they want to respect the military, the defense agreement that they have with Saudi Arabia. I mean, the Pakistanis already have a lot of troops in Saudi Arabia ready to get deployed. So they don't want to get deployed. They don't want to get involved with this, but they have to if this escalates. We already have 10 years
so
of
now
Saudi Arabia.
the IRGC are basically sanctioning Pakistan and Saudi Arabia and China if they pull this card out. Like they're hitting three people that would kind of be co-aligned in some way. Like Pakistan would be kind of on their side. Saudis are reticent to go directly against the IRGC, and China is kind of their supporter. But if they pull this card out, all those three are going to be very angry at them, is what I'm guessing.
Yes, and this is what and now that I think about it, now that you worded like that, Monkey, it might be the reason why Marco Rubio is now at this exact time talking about the rest of the world needs to get involved. The rest of the world has realized that this cannot go on. The United States cannot be policing the rest of the world. Might be the timing is not a coincidence. It's basically the same time where we're going to start seeing a lot of pressure on the economies of other countries and wanting them to get involved as well, because it's not just going to be China and Pakistan. The whole world is going to experience the pain here if this is at all successful.
This would also escalate. This would escalate things to a great degree and might lead, I would hope, to the, me steel manning the plan I had laid out that is a possibility. That would make, I think if they do this, we have to go after the IRGC. I don't see. I think we have to do it anyway because they're just going to keep ramping up. They're just going to keep doing this shit. They're just going to keep doing it. Yeah, China, get on board. This is you. Yeah, yeah, Pakistan. Yeah, Saudi Arabia. You got to stop pussyfooting with these people. Yeah, Europe. Yeah, I think this is another reason why UK, even though it's Labour and Labour are a bunch of tree hugging hippies, are saying, "Look, we're going to open up drilling at in the north because we just can't take it."
Yeah. Yeah, this is interesting. We might be moving into that direction. We'll see. But what could other countries do? Like, what are we expecting? Who does what?
Well, what would happen if we are going in, if we are moving up in to Iran from the south, and we would start vetting locals, vetting them to take over, vetting and training for them, because sometimes you don't have to vet them to be soldiers. Sometimes you're just vetting them to be able to organize a city in a way that's not run by the IRGC. It's run by free trade. So you have to vet some people to have the best interest of that city at heart and have them run business there and have communication so that you can have supplies come in, have commerce come back, and move that up onto the north and just keep rolling on north. If you start doing that, you start taking away the Islamic Republic's last grips on the infrastructure. And once they can't even control the infrastructure, what are they going to do? Their banks' accounts are frozen. They can't control the oil. They would lose. We would be taking over their military bases. We would be taking over the cities one by one and giving them to the people, not keeping them. So the strain on our forces would be lower. We already have around 20,000 ground troops, 1,200 vehicles. We already have 29 ships there, 20,000 personnel. What we would need is for the Europeans to pick up the slack in the Mediterranean, pick up the slack in the Indo-Pacific. Like Japan has great forces there. Taiwan would have to keep an eye out, and we have partnerships with Australia and the Philippines. They would have to pick up the slack in those areas. In the Caribbean, well, that's just basically us. There's not a lot of anyone else around on the American hemisphere that has a blue water navy. But in Europe, we could see an increase in whatever blue water navy is there, so that they could protect themselves. Russia's busy with Ukraine, so if we could have Ukraine ramp up at the same time, that would also help. It could be, we could be putting the squeeze on autocrats. If we could hit all autocrats at the same time and have our regional partners in Europe, in the Mediterranean, in the Indo-Pacific pick up the slack, we could be putting the squeeze on autocracy.
Yeah. But Monkey, look at this. We have some new ships on fire. Several ships attempted to leave the Hormuz area without approval in quotations from the Islamic regime in Iran. So once again, the regime attacked them. This regime needs to be stopped for good. They're an absolute menace to the entire world. Look at this. This is quite new.
I haven't seen anything like this. Like this specific image, I've seen them hit ships. I haven't seen this one specifically. I'm guessing this is very new. You got a good source on this? This looks extremely recent.
This is Emily Schrader. She's usually very good at fact checking.
Oh, yeah. You know what? We knew this was going to happen. They're just going to keep going. I think, we're already back on, and I don't think we're going to turn off.
Yeah. I don't see it. I think if there's any de-escalation, it's going to be temporary. I think we're escalating, but the de-escalation doesn't get us to the previous de-escalation level. It will be higher. We keep going up and down, but if you zoom out, you can see the trend is upward. and overall, on average, it's going to keep escalating. That's what I think. Like any pause is going to be temporary.
I don't think we're getting back to the MOU. They say it's on pause, but I think it's dead.
Yeah, wasn't it dead on arrival? The MOU?
Yeah, that was a stillbirth. That was definitely a stillbirth.
Oh my god, true. Shauna, oh, this is your quote. She likes your wording. Saying American Hemisphere is a beautiful sound. Yes, I like
yes. Sean is a great contributor. I want to appreciate the super chats because it really helps people, the Liberty Politics have a voice out there, get this message out to get the latest news out, because we're basically having some breaking news here, and it seems to be constant, right? As far as I'm looking at all kinds of news, and whatever I see on other news channels is things I've seen here first.
Oh, wow.
So we appreciate you for your help with that.
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, we're here for your opinions as Monkey. That's what I'm here for.
Oh,
you have a really good understanding.
Well, thank you, and thank Shauna. Thank both of you. I love that you love the monkey business.
Yes, love monkey business. Okay, so look at this. Mark Levin highlighted this one, saying excellent. I don't know if we played this segment. Let's see what Mark, because when Mark Levin is happy, we Iranian people
excellent.
Are happy.
He said excellent.
Yes, we'll see. Well, let's see which part he found very.
This is a far bigger job that we're doing. We were doing a little job of stopping them from having a certain capability. Now we're just ending it. So it's really not the same thing. What we're doing now is we're ending any chance where they could have a nuclear missile. If you look at it, after a week and a half, not 4 weeks, a week and a half, 2 weeks, we stopped them from probably, but I don't want to have the word probably. This is a far.
Wow, this sounds like escalation to me. Does that sound like escalation to you?
A little bit, for sure. Like, yes, that is excellent.
Yeah. He is basically saying that we want to finish the job with these people. We were like he said what we were doing before was a little job. Now we have a big job.
Exactly.
So yeah. So basically, yeah, he wants to make sure he wants to go with probably he wants to go from a situation where the Islamic Republic probably can't make a nuclear weapon to certainly like with more guarantees. Like he wants to completely destroy them. I mean, he probably means that he wants to completely get rid of them. That's the only way that you could go from probably to making sure that it will never to making it more certain.
Look, my dream scenario. I laid it out there. I sent it to you on the Telegram. That map, that's where I think we should go.
I like that plan. Very similar to my plan. So we agree.
Well, I got your map. That's kind of the map you showed me. So that is true.
No, so we agree. We see eye to eye.
Absolutely.
This we don't see eye to eye with this guy though. So this is the foreign minister of the Islamic Republic. Look at what he said, Monkey. Comment on this if you can. Again, I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's like in Persian. But it said targeting the watchtower in Chabahar or bridges and power plants is reminiscent of ISIS actions. So he's saying the United States taking out bridges and the watchtower is them being ISIS. I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know.
So
that's why.
What they do when they are hanging people for religious reasons, that's reminiscent of ISIS. Like their judicial system is reminiscent of ISIS.
True. But like that's such a stupid comparison. Like, what are you talking about? ISIS took down watchtowers with their fighter jets. Like, how is that even?
This is propaganda, so you got to figure out who this message is to. Is this a message that we're supposed to get? Is this a message for inside Iran? Because maybe they're trying to make an equivalence of or stow a fear that ISIS is coming because of the Americans bring ISIS with them. Like, what are they trying to say here? Because what he's saying is not what he's saying. There's some kind of subtext to it that I can't really get. I don't understand why he would even bring ISIS into the conversation unless ISIS is something he's trying to tie to America.
What they do, let me actually tell you, they always say that ISIS was an American project. They do.
Okay, so when I hear Americans say that, they're just spewing IRGC propaganda, and that's the kind of messaging that he's putting out there for the Americans that believe that, and they also spew that message at home. I think that's what they're trying to say. It doesn't make logical sense, but it makes propaganda sense in that you're trying to instill these images in the mind of the people you're talking to.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think but you're right, because that framework already exists for saying ISIS is America, so it's just playing into that. Oh, look at this. This is a pretty a statement from President Trump that was a sign of more escalation. Hopefully, let's see here.
One other thing, we can hit sections of Tehran and other places that, if you do it, it'll be almost impossible for them to rebuild their country, and we don't want that. But we can hit electric. We could take apart their electric capacity within 1 hour, and it would take them 25 years to rebuild it. So ideally, we're not going to be doing that. Thank you very much, everybody.
You know, I always get a sense that President Trump is really, really holding back, and he's constantly trying to find, because guys, like my understanding is that destroying the Islamic Republic is really easy if you had no self-imposed restrictions on yourself. Like, it's so easy for the Americans. It's just that they just don't want to destroy the infrastructure. That's what's holding them back. But if they didn't have that limitation, this is like a one-day job or even less. Is that correct?
Look, if their goal was utter and complete destruction without care for civilians, it's like we don't even need nukes. Like, if we were immoral, if we didn't care about the Iranian people, this would be a very easy job. But that we don't see them. We have more care for the Iranian people than the IRGC does.
Oh, of course. What the? I mean, what care? What care of the IRGC like this?
They don't, like, when they speak about the Iranians, they don't include the people. They only include the IRGC. When they say the Iranian people have suffered because of sanctions, they're talking about the IRGC. They're not talking about the people. We went a little bit over it earlier, but they dehumanize. They don't even include them in their thoughts or the conversation.
But here's a question. Here's a challenging question. I mean, probably not challenging for you, but I find it, somewhat challenging. But what do you say to the Iranian people who say, just hit the infrastructure? We can rebuild. Like, we already rebuilt and we can do it again. Some Iranian people say, like, just do it. Just do it, because our wealth comes from the Iranian people. Like, the damage that the Islamic Republic is doing to the Iranian people is more than the damage you could do to the infrastructure. So if you keep, like, some people, when President Trump, like, oh, we don't want to destroy the infrastructure, there are voices from inside Iran that comes out and says, like, if that's what it takes to get rid of the Islamic Republic, just do it, because we can't bear this anymore. So what do you say to that?
You're suffering. It's a weapon wielded against us. If we cause any undue suffering to Iranians, their voices will not be heard. They won't be legitimized as coming from inside. And outside, any suffering, any undue suffering that comes to the Iranian people, not the IRGC, the people, is a weapon that be wielded against us so that we can't interfere or intervene or help at all. Like, the suffering of the Iranian people by people who don't care for them would be strongly wielded against it. And not only that, strongly wielded against American citizens to affect us because of the tendency, the low tolerance that American civilians have for the suffering of non-combatants.
But then, but so here's a question. Can you explain how would that be used against you? Like like just because people are yapping and saying things, what would that do to you? Like, how would that exactly, in effect, what can they do if they just, like, if they're not happy? Okay, let them not be happy. They're anti-American. People are anti-American anyways. So how would this affect anything? So I mean, I'm not saying that's true. I just want you to explain. Go on. Sorry.
Okay, just to explain to the people, there is half of America that is, how shall we put it? They are a softer touch. They're more compassionate, and they're not politically savvy. And those people are taken advantage of by some a political class known as the Democrats and the Socialists. And the Democrats and the Socialists among us would use that to take away our political power to help. So this would be during the midterms. Like maybe after the midterms, that could happen, not before. Because it's a weapon. Like we could do it, but we would do it in the most limited fashion and in the most controlled fashion. In a way, it's good for you. It does slow down the speed, but you have to understand that we don't want to go so hard that then we leave the job half done. Right? We have to do it in a controlled measure so we can, because they don't have physical weapons against the US. They have spiritual weapons. They want to attack our spirit, our willingness. They want to give us sadness, give us empathy for the wrong side. They want to twist any good feelings, any camaraderie that we might feel with these civilians and twist it against us. This is what they do with civilians in Gaza. And then the Gazans suffer because of the Palestinian and Hamas. That's why they classify what happens in Palestine as a genocide, but they won't do that in South Africa because it's propaganda tools, and they will use it, and they have used it to effect. Right now, we're trying to cut off their legs by taking away some of their funding, because a lot of the funding for this messaging comes from the outside, and there are measures being taken for places like Code Pink, NIAC, NAIR, that take advantage of that intolerance that we have for civilian suffering in conflict. They're trying to get that messaging to be less potent because you're taking away some of the money behind it, but it's a problem. That's why we don't like to be able to help you fully. We can't go full bore because we'll cut off our own legs. It's a culture war.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for. And just a short version of that is that United States is a democracy, and if the people's opinions change against what's happening, that will have an effect because the people have a say. The people have a say, and also, yeah. We got a super chat. Oh, I forgot your name. Oh my god. Let me see how I'm gonna use AI to figure out your name. Translate this. I have to Monkey, help me remember this, okay? Once I get the name. I tried to remember it before. Okay, but it's from Israel, and thank you so much for the generous super chat. Thank you so much. That's very sweet. Saying, dear Armin, the answer to the question of just do it is painful. In my opinion, there is a vacuum of the day after for which the United States can take a lot of credit, and it hurts me as an Israeli as well. Wait, let me see. What does that mean? In my opinion, there is a vacuum of the day after for which the United States can take a lot of credit, and it hurts me as an Israeli as well. What do you, Monkey, do you understand this?
Well, just do it. Mean just hit him hard. Just hit him. Just destroy everything. That's what.
Yeah.
That's the question. Okay.
Yes. No, but the second
there
part,
is a vacuum of the day after. So will there be a vacuum in the day after? That's a the day after we destroy everything. Is there going to be a vacuum? That could be a power book. Like we're going to take credit for the vacuum for whatever is there.
Oh,
right. If it's bad, if whatever takes over after the vacuum is bad, we have to take credit for it. So, let's say it's not let's say the transitional government doesn't become a Reza Pahlavi. Let's say Mech takes over. That would be horrible. That would be a nightmare, right? And we would have to own it. So if we don't do this carefully, if you don't want Mech to take over in the vacuum, we have to do this carefully. We can't just willy-nilly do whatever we want and then have other countries help put Mech in there and start funding it. Like, this is me guessing. Like, maybe there's something lost in translation here that I'm not getting. But if I was going to try to interpret from that something and try to extrapolate from it, that's where I would go.
Okay, so the name is Ezekiel, if I'm pronouncing it right. So I'm going to let's try to remember it. I'm bad with memories, but Ezekiel, thank you so much for the super chat. So by credit, you mean blame, right? So you're saying if after the fall, there's a power vacuum, the United States would get the blame for it. That's what you mean? The blame.
Yes, if it's not a controlled.
Right. Yes, that does make sense. Ezekiel. No, did I pronounce it wrong?
If I'm extrapolating incorrectly, I mean, go ahead and tell me. That yes.
Okay, yes, blame. Okay, that's what you mean. Yeah, so basically kind of like a repetition of Iraq. So the United States would get the blame for what came after, and that's what they're trying to avoid. So
we have for many years, for decades, we have been told what happened in Libya is your fault. What happened in Iraq is your fault. What happened in Syria, and that's more recent, is your fault. The suffering. They show us like videos, and we see them on Twitter of, basically the destabilizing and there's a lot of it that is basically slavery and a genocide. They're killing these people because they're just they're killing.
Wouldn't that challenge your so an Iranian would say to this, there shouldn't be any worry about a vacuum after, because the Iranian people will not let a vacuum be there for long, because we're united, because we're patriotic, because we have a national identity, because the Iranian people are educated, because we have Princess of Pahlavi, because we have the IPP, the Iran Prosperity Project, because Princess of Pahlavi's team has already have a plan for what to do exactly after to fill in the power vacuum, because the Iranian people are very motivated to rebuild their country. Because it's not like Libya, where there's many divisions, where there's no institutions. It's not like Syria, where the country is in three pieces with three separate identities, and even more. It's not like Iraq, where the country is three separate identities. It's not like Lebanon, because Lebanon's problem is the Islamic Republic. There's the Islamic Republic gone. There's nobody like the Islamic Republic to come and support like a Hezbollah in Iran, because we already have a culture and a history of building our country, because we will be working with the Israelis and the Americans in securing the country. For all of these reasons, an Iranian will say that because of all of that, there will either not be a power vacuum, or if there is one, it will be short-lived. Is that convincing? What do you think about that?
They'll start with, I'm sorry, who are you? You're from where? And why should I believe you? I'm not saying you, like hear me out. You're just talking to your average American on Twitter that's watching this. They don't know the history. They don't know about the culture of Iran. They don't know if you're real. They know what they see on TV, and what they see on TV is being hammered by that past and being done, and having it done for 20 years, right? So just because you're absolutely right about everything you're saying doesn't mean they're going to believe you or understand it or receive the message. They might have clicked off halfway through what you were saying because you were speaking very fast about things they don't understand. So they have to get that message from people they trust and they know, which is why your program is good, because you're kind of like teaching them about these facts. And people like Goldie, people like Tusi, like people that are getting that message out there, people like Ali that are getting that message. That's why you guys are good, because they're getting to know you. But the large amount of America doesn't know you, doesn't understand you. Some of them don't even have the time to understand this. So all they're going to know is the past. And what they know from the past is this has gone bad. They don't even know where it's turned out good. They don't even know how much better is Iraq now. They don't know how much of the corruption and the destruction there was because of the IRGC. So the level of ignorance, it's hard to get over. That's why it has to be done carefully, because everything you're saying is true, and it must be incredibly frustrating that they don't understand it, but they don't. That's the whole purpose of my channel, to kind of teach this along with American politics so they can understand.
Okay. And but as for the people who do have an understanding, what I said, was that like at all convincing, or did it make sense? Like Ezekiel, did what I say was that convincing, that there might not be a power vacuum, or did it not make sense? What about you, Monkey? Do you think that?
I think we're already on your side. He's already on your side. Like, he's speaking with the donation harder than he, you know, understand? Like, he's telling you, yeah, I understand that it's going to go the way you're saying, right? He is speaking with his actions towards what you're saying being true. But we are in the know, and they are not.
Yeah, but I know, but to get people in the know, was that line of reasoning, is that what we need to spread, or do we need to spread a completely different message?
It is, but you threw a lot of words out really fast. And when you need to spit out that many facts out that fast, the eyes glaze over. You got to make a little graphics, make a little story.
You guys, I'm giving it to you so you go do the American version of that, right? So that is for you. Okay. So this
Okay,
is
chat. I want you to take everything Armin said when he was giving the reason. You're going to have to play it at 0.75, maybe 0.50, and write it down, because you're not going to be able to write it down if you just play it at 1.0. You might have to slow it down to 0.5, write it all down, and for each one of those reasons, you gotta like play it out to why should someone believe this? Why should someone believe this? And it's a list about, it was like 20 things. It was like 20 things in 60 seconds, right? So we have to get that message out. It's a lot. Like, they're all good reasons. There was a lot.
So you give it. You understood all of it, right, Mickey? So can you give us?
I understood all of it. Like, but I wouldn't have when I first heard you back about a bunch of months ago, when I first saw you on Apostate Prophets.
Okay, so can you give us a Walmart American version of it, if you can, or you need time for that?
Bro, it's different. Okay, let me explain. These people, they ain't like those people. These people, they don't have that religious crazy stuff. They're just that the religious crazy people are in power. They hate that shit. They want to be like us. They used to be like us. Look at these videos. Look at these videos. Look at them in the cars. Look at them at the disco. They like us. The problem is they got North Korea, homie.
So yeah, but what would you say? Because what I was trying to say, like, okay, like if somebody might say, okay, well, that's all fine and good, but once the regime falls, how do we know that these people will be able to stabilize things? So what I gave you was talking about the plan that is already there, the leadership that with Princess Pahlavi that is already there, the level of education, and the fact that the Iranian people have already a history of basically building and being united, the national identity that unites and bonds the Iranian people, the motivation to build the country that is there. So and the record. So this is not just a theory. It's also they have the record. The country was already during the Qajar dynasty was at the edge of collapse, and the same Pahlavi mindset that saved the country and kept it together and built the country and made it more prosperous before during Pahlavi. The same person, like the same people, like Pahlavi again is coming back to Iran to repeat just that. So we have the plan, we have the right people, we have the right unity, we have the same, we have the pro-American mindset, the pro-Israeli mindset, and we have the record. We have the historical record to show that we know how to get things keep everything united and stable and start building from day one. How do you translate that to Walmart American?
Well, like I said before, these people were just like us until they got North Korea. Look at the videos. Look at them. Look at them. This was their culture. This was their culture. They went full lefty, and it went really wrong for them, right? It went really, really wrong because they tied themselves to religious crazy people, right? But that's not the sentiment of the people. The people ain't like that, right? So they're just occupied. So the reason why won't that turn into religious fighting? Because they're not religious. You can't have religious fighting with secular people. That's not religious fighting. So are they gonna become leftist? This is a harder sell because you're trying to sell this. Partly half America is kind of leftist, not full blown Marxist, just kind of like more into what do you call it? Classic liberal, not the new kind. So what you have to do is you have to sell it in a way where you're saying, look, these people were free, these people had individual rights, they want individual rights, and they don't want these crazy religious things over them. Like the majority of people want to be free. And I know we've said this before, but they also got a lot of oil. And you know what? That oil was being stolen by China and Russia. And that should go to the people because these people had one of the best economies. And now they're stuck because these people are selling their wealth to the China and Russia. Their oil is being stolen. We're going to take that oil and we're going to give it that to them. Are we going to have a little bit of profit? Sure. They're going to get sold at great market value. We're going to invest in our infrastructure. We may have to take care and, move in to some really hardened bunkers in there, but we're going to have control of this area. And some people would say, wait a minute, that's what we did in Iraq. Yes, that is what we did in Iraq, and Iraq is much better for it now. If you look at Iraq right now, it's great. Iraq is fantastic now. Look at the deals we got with Iraq. They got all their crazy IRGC out. They're doing deals with us. We're getting more oil. Our economy is getting better. The people of Iraq's living standard is going up, and you're being sold some bullshit by the TV. I know you hate the TV. That's why you're listening to me. Well, you know what? Also, the TV's been lying to you. They've been lying to you about Iraq, and they've been lying to you about what really happened in Libya and Syria, right? That's not the same situation here. You've been lied to. You've been lied to you. You've been lied to about Syria. You've been lied to you about Libya, and you've been lied to about Iraq. Iraq is better now. Syria was bad, saying that Assad was a good guy. No, he wasn't. He was a strong man, but he was a strong man that was making things a lot worse for us. One of the reasons we have a problem is we couldn't get a pipe across. Now we are getting that pipe across. You don't want these people to control our oil. And that's what it was all about. That's why China was in Iran. That's why Russia was in Iran. And that's why they propped up the IRGC so they could take care of that strait. Let me tell you something, brother. This directly affects you. If you care about these people, let them have their secular government. Because the reason that that these crazy mullahs were propped up was to hurt America and to hurt them. Like, it would be like a long talk. I can't break down this in Walmart American in a couple of sentences.
That's
because
good.
you put out like 50 facts in 60 seconds. I'm not that good.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was good. By the way, just to clear, and I want to play this video because for people who might want to have a better understanding, this is only 8 seconds, but let me know if it's helpful or not. For Americans. But guys, just to be clear, when we say Walmart Americans, we're not at least I'm not by any means suggesting that the Americans are stupid. Okay. I am ignorant about politics of like Bangladesh, right? I am ignorant about Korean politics right now because I'm not following it, right? So when we say Walmart Americans, we're not saying Americans are stupid. When you're not following a country's internal politics and history, like, why should you know about it? Like, how does that make any sense? Okay, so this is not, the ignorance is justified because nobody could come and nobody can go and become an expert in every country's politics and history. Okay, so this is a justified ignorance that I have on many countries, right?
And Europeans are starting to love Walmart. When the Europeans saw Walmart, they went, wow, this is fantastic.
Yeah, Walmart, and no insult to Walmart. Walmart just means like you're busy with life. That's what we mean by Walmart American, right? Anyways, watch this video. So it's very short, 8 seconds. Tell me if this helps with Americans figuring out what we used to stand for.
One of our laws is that communism is not allowed. It's banned, so you can't do it.
Short and sweet.
How did we do that? Can we get that? How do we pass that law? He's ahead of us. What's going on here? You know, we used to have that. I miss it.
Oh, let me do that one more time. That was pretty good. Oh my God, I love him so much.
One of our laws is that communism is not allowed. It's banned, so you can't do it.
Guys, so for people who don't know, this was our Shah, Muhammad Reza Shah, our king before the Islamic Republic came and destroyed everything that was working in Iran, and before the Pahlavi dynasty fell and the Islamic Republic came into power.
Honestly, I'd play that. That says more than I could. Like that? That says so much. That says, oh, you want to know why they went after that guy? You know what? They lie and say that he wasn't supposed to do what he literally did and legally did and got rid of this Mossadegh nationalizing private companies. You know why they lie about him? Let me play this. Communism is not allowed. Fuck that shit. I mean, it's not legal. Whatever the way he said, I got the subtext. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes. All right. Let's see. Let's go back to Iran stuff, right? To what's happening right now in Iran. I haven't seen a bad take. Maybe I have, but I don't remember. But from General Kane, he has really good takes. Let me see what he says here.
The reality is, on April the 8th, we went to a ceasefire, Jackie, and we began a 3-month plus negotiations to achieve some kind of an agreement here that made some sense to the United States. Negotiators promised, we're reasonable. We want to coexist with you. We have to work with these hardliners. You got to help us work with the hardliners. This is the same pattern line, so our audience understands that other presidents have had to deal with. The negotiators and diplomats always appear reasonable. They always want to coexist with us, and they're always working against the hardliners. That has been the pattern for decades. There's nothing new about that, although some of our negotiators, being new to this, think it's new. It is not new. It is their pattern. And I don't think there's ever going to be a deal here that would be acceptable to President Trump. And he's obviously not going to take a bad deal at all.
That's what you said, Monkey. He's saying what you
absolutely
said. Yes. So can we tell people, like, would you be comfortable in telling people that there's not going to be any deal? Like, because you have said that many times. Do you want to?
Hey, look, I've said it all the time. The only reason we made the deal is because we were kind of low on supplies. We have to resupply. Our troops are not machines. Our troops also need to rest and rotate out. And during that time, if you can do two things, like you can walk and chew gum, right? Like we could try to work out a deal while this is going on. We tried, right? People, and not only that, during our resupply, during our time of rest, we also started dealing with the IRGC in Iraq. We also made a deal between Israel, America, and Lebanon, a historic deal. Right. So it's not like we've been sitting on our hands here. Like, okay, you want to deal, we deal. But while we deal, we're going to resupply. We're going to take care of these tentacles that you got going out into all these places. Because if your deal is genuine and you remember that part of that deal is that you stop funding proxies, you won't mind if we start getting rid of proxies, because that was part of the deal. You can't mind that we are cutting Hezbollah's control, because part of the deal was that you were going to stop, funding Hezbollah, right? You can't mind that we are getting rid of PMF. What was it? Poor motherfuckers, Hashto Sabi. You can't mind that we're dealing with them.
Yes.
You can't mind that, because that was part of the deal. So if you're genuine about the deal, you're not going to mind this. But because they do mind, and part of the deal was we take your oil, we give you corn, and hey, dog, get that hay. We're going to take your oil, we're going to freeze it in an account over here, right? And you're going to be calm, and you're going to sit still while that corn gets over there. Okay, farmers, we sold some oil. Here's the money. Here's the money, farmers. Thank you for that corn and the hay. Okay, start loading it in the boat. Start loading it. Oh, they attacked the ship. Never mind. Keep the hay, and we're keeping the oil. You're not getting shit because you did not stand by your deal. I knew this would happen. There's a lot of people worried. Well, they can just sell the food. Yes, that's logical, but these people are not logical. They're going to attack before they even get it, and they're going to lose the money and the food. And that's what happened. We knew. We like some of us knew. It's like, look, we're going to do this kind of deal. We're going to give it like a real effort, but we know they're going to fail, and we're going to make the contingencies for when they fail. Those contingencies take care of the tentacles, take care of Hezbollah, take care of Hashd al-Shabis. Those contingencies, whatever oil they get, make sure we control the escrow account, and we set up an escrow account for that so that any oil sold by the RGC is controlled by us and contingent on their good behavior. So, you know, it is what it is. It was never going to work. We knew it. We had contingencies, and now we're at the point where we don't want to even try anymore.
Big news, big news. 2 posts from President Trump, Truth Social. Let me show you. First, this one. Okay, look at this. President Trump posted this. Every time Iran kills an American soldier, they do you want to read this, or I could just?
I think because of the subject
nature
matter
of it. Yeah, every time Iran kills an American soldier, they will pay for that killing many times over. This directive has been passed on to Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Daniel Kane, and every leader in the military. Okay, so hopefully that means something big is coming. And then he also posted this. President, do you want to?
How long ago did he post that?
Well, these okay. I could check. Usually, within minutes after he posted, it will come on X. But I could check exactly when. I'll check for you right now. But do you want to comment on this one before I?
What I would say is this has probably happened between yesterday and today, and it's indicating that there will be
27 minutes.
Oh my God! This is right now. This indicates a change, because this would be a higher. This would indicate that things are going to happen that haven't happened in the past 24 hours. That's what I'm getting from this, because this is like, okay, the pace is going to increase.
This just happened, guys. This was 27 minutes ago. And I think also Pete Hegseth might have just posted. People in the chat are saying Pete Hegseth just posted something. Let me see if I could bring that up. No, I don't see anything new here. But President Trump posted another. So this one was from 27 minutes ago, but there's another one from 19 minutes ago. So we just got two new ones from President Trump. President Trump saying Benjamin Netanyahu will not be arrested in any way, shape, or form while in the United States of America. He is fighting against the Islamic Republic of Iran, which recently killed 52,000 innocent protesters and has spent the last 47 years killing American soldiers and others. The only ones that should be arrested are the people that led Iran into this unprecedented spiral of death and destruction, something that should have been dealt with years ago by previous president. Okay, guys, this sounds, again, I'm not saying what's going to happen, but this is the type of language that you usually see before something big is going to happen, for 2 reasons. First, where President Trump, whenever there is negotiations and MOU talk, you see some disagreement talk between Netanyahu and President Trump, either on purpose or not. We're not going to go into that right now. But whenever you see them about to go into military operations or in the middle of the military operations, you see more praising of Bibi and Israel in general when you're about to go into that. So this might be an indication of that. But also the second part where he's talking about this has to be dealt with years ago is usually the type might also indicate that we're about to do something big. But maybe I'm reading too much into it. What do you think, Mikey?
I'd like to address the first part, because I think I would even like to run a clip with you that I want to send you. Now, this is from a very intelligent man that said this, and I'm hoping if we have time we can go over it, because it's very important what's being done here. The court of the International Criminal Court has placed like an arrest, like a warrant out for some people. One of them was Benjamin Netanyahu, which is why we sanctioned them, right? We sanctioned them personally, individual, the people that did that, and that's what the first part is about. Like no one is arresting Bibi. If you arrest Bibi, you're gonna have trouble with us. Now there is a person named Habib. Ask Habib. You know him personally because you've been on his show, but I think he makes the eloquent case, the most eloquent case against these international laws, and I think everyone here would benefit from seeing it. I don't know if we have it in the schedule, if it's a possibility, but I think you and everyone would benefit greatly from this YouTube short that Ask Haviv made, because it's about the first part of that message.
So I will play that right away. But before, let me actually, because I want to respond to Shauna. Shauna is saying this is a threat against Mamdani. I know this is about Mamdani and him threatening that he's going to arrest. That was part of Mamdani's campaign discussion, like that was there, and he's now doubling down. But I do think that it's not just about that. I do think that it's possible that it seems like it's a response to that, but it's also a demonstration of alignment with Bibi and Israel. Maybe I'm too much reading into it. So I think what I was suggesting is that by responding to the threat of Mamdani against Bibi, by responding to that, President Trump is advertising once again that they're aligned with Israel. So it's an opportunity to do that. That's what I was thinking, but maybe not. Saying, yeah, go on.
I was gonna say yes, but Mamdani is basing that statement on what the International Criminal Court, like what
Yes,
under what. So that's why the Ask Haviv comment. So I'm just adding to it. I'm just agreeing. And adding to what Sean is saying, yes, Mamdani said that, but why did he say that? He said that because of what the International Criminal Court said, which is why I think it's vital for Americans to understand more about what the International Criminal Court is. And I think Haviv did such a good job with it that I just can't find anyone better at explaining it in such a short, concise, condensed manner to show the ridiculousness of that court.
Okay. Yeah, I will play that right after this. So the full super chat by Sean is saying, this is a threat against Mamdani, doubling down on his threats. Mamdani needs to learn his place. I 100% agree with that. Yep. And let me... okay, well, hold on. Let me also read this one, and then we'll go to the Ask Heavy video. Todd Radner. I don't know if I'm reading it right. Saying
Todd Rathner.
Saying why no IRGC heads eliminated last 11 days of booms? Well, usually the IRGC leaders get taken out by Israeli operations. Americans usually take out military infrastructure or sometimes other infrastructure that are due use by the military. That's what they focus on the most. Americans have, though, sometimes taken out some IRGC leaders. It's not like they haven't done that, but that happens mostly when the Israelis get involved. And right now the Israelis are not involved. But if once they do get involved, you're going to probably see a lot more of that happening. And we're all waiting for that, by the way. Yes, I would like
absolutely.
To see more. Yes, and thank you for the super chat. So let's go to this video that you asked us to play. It's 3 minutes. Let's watch this.
I'm a big believer in international law. Some of you may know. I just don't think we have such a thing yet. We should have it. Humanity needs it. Law says to you.
By the way, I don't agree with that first part. I don't think we need international law. I think the law should be the highest authority is a nation state. There shouldn't be any there could be international norms. There could be international agreements. There could be international understanding. But I think the law should come from a nation state, and there shouldn't be any authority above a nation state. So I don't believe there should be an international law. So
he's kind of baiting, though.
Right. Okay.
In international law, some of you may know. I just don't think we have such a thing yet. We should have it. Humanity needs it. Law says to you, I will protect you. And because I will protect you, you have to obey me. There's a quid pro quo with a legal system. International law is just sort of what's commonly done and what's expected by people who are what? Who's the constituency that elects the legislator of international law? It's states signing treaties. And international law advocates ignore everything that doesn't fit. So, for example, the ICC, right, the Rome Statute that founded the International Criminal Court, well, there's a lot of countries that never signed it. America, Russia, China, India. That's a lot. I mean, I saw this one analysis. 80% of the armies actually engaged in conflict in this world aren't members of the ICC. Anyone who thinks that they might have to fight a war doesn't join the ICC. Incidentally, the Arabs scream and shout about international law and Israeli violations of international law. There's exactly one Arab country that ever joined the ICC, and that's Tunisia. So no Arab country believes in the ICC unless they have to talk about Israel. It's similar with the question of mass migration, for example, taking in Syrian refugees in the Syrian civil war. Germany took in 1 million. Why did none go to Saudi Arabia? Why did none go to Qatar? And the simple answer is Germany is a member of the Refugee Convention. All the Arab countries that demanded respect for mass immigration in Western countries, none of them are signed on the Refugee Convention. They don't actually believe in it. My point is that everybody still pretends like Qatar obey international law, like Saudi obey international law. They don't even pretend to. So international law can't enforce itself. It's just politics.
So there's a thing. If it can't be enforced, then it's not a law. It shouldn't even be called a law. Like if it's just a paper with some suggestions on it.
He's doing so good though, right? He's so good with it, man. I love this guy.
Yeah, I do. He's amazing.
Like Saudi obey international law. They don't even pretend to. So international law can't enforce itself. It's just politics masquerading as law. Israel is dragged before the ICC because the state of Palestine joined the ICC. Mazel tov. 2 Arab countries out of 23 have now joined the ICC. But the state.
Wait, what did you say?
Palestine. One of those is not even a country.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Palestine is not a country.
It can't enforce itself. It's just politics masquerading as law. Israel is dragged before the ICC because the state of Palestine joined the ICC. Mazel tov. 2 Arab countries.
Palestine, not a country. A state maybe, but not a nation state.
Out of 23,
a terroristic state,
have now joined the ICC. But the state of Palestine, nobody has the borders up. International law didn't save the Muslims of Bosnia. Bill Clinton saved the Muslims of Bosnia by ordering a bombing of Belgrade. Everybody was waiting around for international.
Yeah, because, see, enforcement, power, military power brings peace, not suggestions written on a piece of paper.
Law to assert itself. While 1 million Tutsis were killed, nobody saved them. Right now in Iran, there was just a resolution at the UN Human Rights Council to launch a fact-finding mission. South Africa abstained. 30,000 potentially dead in Iran. South Africa abstains from a fact-finding mission at the Human Rights Council. I thought South Africa is the great arbiter of whether there's a genocide in Gaza and whether the Jews are legitimate or illegitimate in the land of Israel. The whole thing is fake. The part of the world that is democratic, maybe 30-40% of humanity lives in democracies, is a function of American power after World War II. It's a function of the American example. The Americans invented modern democracy.
It's a function of the U.S. enforcement power. It's not even the Americans, providing a model. It's not just a model. It's the enforcement power that comes with the U.S. military, and also the desire to sell to the American consumers with their high purchasing power. What the world wants is the protection of the U.S. military and to be able to sell to the American consumer. That's what brings peace and stability around the world.
Or after World
I think
War
that's
II.
why he used. If you can stop for a second. I think that's why he used the example of Bosnia and the Tutsis, because it shows you who has the power to stop something and what happens when we don't stop something.
Exactly. Yeah, and Sarah's saying, Armin, you said these two before. Yeah, exactly.
Land of Israel. The whole thing is fake. The part of the world that is democratic, maybe 30-40% of humanity lives in democracies, is a function of American power after World War II. It's a function of the American example. The Americans invented modern democracy. It's not a function of anything else. It's a function of democracies asserting themselves on the world stage. It's not a function of everyone pretending there are a set of rules that there never were. So only the good guys are limited by them, and the Chinese are never limited by them, or the Iranians or the Russians or anybody else.
Perfect. That was great.
I want to put his video in the chat for you guys to check it out. And if you like the channel, what you're also going to find there is a great interview with Armin on that channel. I saw it. I think you did an excellent job there. So you guys can check it out. I think he's a wonderful man. And if you ever have to like use this clip, you can use it to explain stuff about international law. Check this out. You know what I'm saying? You could learn, like if you want to like have it, say it from your mouth, like he would probably not mind that you learn this, but you could also share his clip, do whatever you do. But the thing is that you can't just have the international law of the criminal court give Mandami the power to arrest Netanyahu. That's not how that works.
Yeah, of course not. It's a joke. But it's also a concern because if it's all based on power, then if the DSA becomes more and more powerful in the United States, you know, that power could be used for, you know, speaking of power being, get the vote. Speaking of people in power with bad influence, Rudy Giuliani, this video just came out. Look, this, okay, Monkey, you keep telling me that we need to explain things to the average Americans with the assumptions that they don't haven't been following these things and they don't know these things. And this is a good example to confirm that what you're saying is correct, because this video, it looks pro-Iranian people. Look at this. Giuliani says, don't say it yet. Don't say it yet. I want to see who in the chat knows what the hell is wrong with this, because I know Monkey knows. So Rudy Giuliani is saying, thank you, Iranian Italians, for the warm reception. And you can see, like, it looks like Rudy Giuliani is coming in and a lot of Iranians are waving and cheering. So watch this. Look at this. Wow. Guys, this Rudy Giuliani just posted this just a few hours ago, earlier today. What is the problem? Yeah, exactly. You guys got it in the chat. Guys, this is, you can see with their yellow flags, this is MEK. This is MEK. That is an Islamic, Marxist Islamic cult that is that Giuliani is coming here and celebrating and endorsing, and he just posted this.
Like this is what makes me not be like enraged about this, because he was there during 9/11. So how are you backing Islamo commies? This is an Islamo. I don't know their flag, but I know usually when Giuliani starts yapping, he's yapping about Mech, and Mech is Islamo commies. It's not just Islamists. It's not just commies. It's the worst of both worlds, Islamo commies. Because you could have a classic liberals and secular Muslims. That's the best of both worlds. But you have the worst Islamo commies. That's like the deadliest combination ever. The worst of the worst of the worst. And I don't know why he's backing them.
Yeah, look, the people in the chat are pointing this out. They're like, what are you doing? These are MEK. Guys, look at their logo. Their logo has both communists. There's the communist symbols on it, and also the Quranic verse. Okay, that's who they are. What
does that verse mean?
Called. It's Arabic. Let me see. Fazla Allah al-Mujahideen ala al-Qaideen ajra al-Azimin. So I don't know. If I remember, I studied Arabic many years ago, so I don't know. But something about the fighters for Allah in jihad being great or something.
I said Mujahideen in there, and I remember those guys kind of shady a little bit.
So Mujahideen just means like a lot of Islamic groups have their Mujahideen is not just one group. It has a meaning. It means people who wage jihad. So many different groups have the Mujahideen in their name, right? So their full name is Mujahideen Khalq Iran. It's not the same as the Mujahideen that you remember in Afghanistan. But Mujahideen just means the people who do jihad.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So here I found the translation. It means Allah has preferred those who strive, meaning do jihad. Allah prefers the mujahideen. So this is a Quranic verse over those who sit at home with a great reward. So mujahideen are the people who go in the battlefield and fight for Allah. So the verse above is a quote from the Quran saying Allah prefers the mujahideen over those who just stay at home. That's what that Quran.
Like they love Allah loves martyrs over life lovers.
Yes, exactly. Let me show you. Should I show this? This is 6 minutes. I don't know. Do you think this is the best?
I don't know.
video
It says graphic images. You want to check it on the side?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. I don't know if it's graphic. Okay, yeah, maybe I'll check it on the side. You're right. We did get
maybe
a
on the side
super
window.
chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will do that. We did get a. Oh my God, X! I when I want to play a video, I'll let you know. What the hell is wrong with Twitter? Jesus Christ! I promise you that I will let you know when I want to play a video. I will do that for you. Okay, I will do that for you. Okay, you don't have to do that for me.
Twitter wants to say we played your video so many times. It's like, yeah, but you didn't give people a choice, did you? Hey, Elon, come on, come on.
Do you want me to just randomly play this video that you already watched without asking you? Jesus. All right. So Ezekiel, I remembered. I'll try to remember. Ezekiel gave us a super chat saying, Armin, what do you think about this? The law of international instead of international law. Yeah, that will fix it. I'm okay with it now. Good solution. Okay. The law of international. Well, that's not proper grammar, but yeah, we could just turn it around. You literally just turn it on its head. So yeah, let's do that. And thank you for the very generous super chat. The law of international. The whole point is that there shouldn't be any laws because laws are enforced by nation so to have a law, you need to have certain people that have sovereignty, and for them to be able to choose a representative that will decide what the laws are, and those representatives will also use the resources that those people have willingly given to those representatives to use on force that has a monopoly over violence in that land, to be able to use that source of force to enforce those laws. That is how law works. You need sovereignty, you need representation, you need the people willingly giving their resources to you to build an army, to have a monopoly over violence, to bring stability. That's how by enforcing those laws. That's how law works. So if you want to make this international, whose sovereignty are we talking about? Beyond sovereignty works within the framework of a nation state. What laws, by what authority are we coming up with laws with? Any authority that is above authority of the nation state is a violation of the sovereignty of the people within the nation states affected by that law, right? So
I have an idea.
Yeah.
You could refer a case to a nation and see if they have committed a crime within that nation's law, seeing as what they have done abroad, and then that nation, according to its law, decides if it wants to proceed. That's the only way this can work. You refer a case. You're like, this guy did this internationally. You have your laws about how your people do things internationally. Is this a crime by your standard? Take a look at this. You understand what I mean? That still respects the sovereignty of that nation.
Yeah, or you could have agreements. You could have certain agreements between nation states. Oh my God, this is playing into my ear. The video that you told me to open on the side, it just keeps playing in my ear without asking me. So I have so many things.
I'm sorry. Twitter, behave. Come on, Elon,
Yeah,
fix it.
stop it. Yes, I don't know why they're doing this. How is this helpful to anybody?
So you're talking like individual extradition treaties between some nations? Yeah, that's another way that could go too.
Yeah. Okay. I found a better version of explaining what the MEK is by Nufti, explained in 1 minute instead of 6 minutes. And because it's on YouTube, I'm assuming it's YouTube friendly. So there you go. And thank you, by the way, Ezekiel, for the super chat. So for people who are new here and don't know what the hell, look at this. It starts with Giuliani as well. This is the woman. This is the cult leader. Mariam Rajavi they worship her. Like, guys, when I say they worship her, I'm not actually using this word lightly. They actually worship her, right? So this is the cult leader, and this is Giuliani supporting the MEK. So let me just play this so you guys know who they are.
She's their Kim Jong-un.
Basketball.
Let me just play this.
After graduating college, basketball star Lee Hawkins joined the Army, where after 2 decades of service, he was assigned to Iran. It would be his last assignment. On the morning of June 2nd, 1973, he stepped out of his house and 2 terrorists killed him in a drive-by shooting. They are members of the Islamo-Marxist terror group, the MEK. Paul Schaefer, born in the small town of Bryan, Ohio, was a decorated Air Force officer who served in both Korea and Vietnam. His friend, Jack Turner, served in the Air Force for 23 years. They, too, were assigned to Iran. And on the morning of May 21st, 1975, 3 gunmen stopped their car, threw them to the ground, and shot them, execution style. They, too, were members of the MEK. What would you say if American politicians were endorsing this group? What if they were taking tens of thousands of dollars from them? 50 years have passed since these American heroes were murdered, but Americans don't forget. Don't let our politicians forget.
Yeah, the MEK killed Americans in terrorist attacks. And I don't understand how, is there any explanation from Giuliani and Mike Pence and Pompeo and John Bolton, for why are they supporting? Have they ever explained why are they supporting a Marxist Islamic group that killed Americans? Like, this is not even a theory. Like, we know, like, this is fact that they kill in terroristic attacks. They killed Americans.
They would probably say that was a long time ago. Those people were misguided, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
It was the same leadership, though. Mariam was in charge.
Oh, she didn't know. Those were rogue operatives. You know the kind of bullshit these kind of people say. What has to be looked at is the funding. Are they funding terroristic people? Can we make this an illegal entity? Because like right now, we have some like they're going to both sides and laying it down the money. If we can make that money illegal, those politicians won't have the motivation and they won't want the attention.
Unbelievable. So yeah, this is it. By the way, guys, they were recognized in the U.S. as a terrorist groups, and they under the Clinton administration they got removed from being a terrorist administration because they were already recognized. Some reason they removed them. Anyways, I want to listen to CNN takes, bad CNN takes, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh,
maybe
here we go.
Here we go. Let's see. Guys, let's see. Let's see. Maybe they'll surprise us. I don't know. Maybe they'll have a good take. We'll see. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. People are going to get out of tomatoes.
So these are the first American deaths from hostile fire since the ceasefire crumbled. President Trump had previously said he would consider going back to full-fledged war if U.S. troops were killed. Do you think the president needs to lay out what his war strategy is moving forward? And does he have any good options here?
Let's start by just taking a beat on 2 more dead Americans, brave men and women, now up to 16. Whatever your tradition, I hope you raise a glass to them tonight, all volunteers. In terms of the president's options, Jake, I'd say he has 3 options and none of them are good. 1, he can simply do Pontius Pilate and walk away from this. That would be a terrible outcome for the United States, for the Gulf, for global trade. I don't think he's going to do it, but that certainly is an option. Option 2, he can go big. And I mean, back to the level of strikes we were at the start, hundreds of strikes a day, and amping up, going after targets that put pressure on the Iranian economy. That would be a big military move, and that could include boots on the ground. That's a bad option because it's expensive and no one wants boots on the ground, and it just doesn't kind of add up for the American public. And then third and finally, okay, Admiral, where does he land? Probably with option 3, which is what you're seeing. increasing to some degree the kinetic activity, the bombs, increasing economic sanction pain, hopefully getting our allies on side, and above all, keeping the door open for negotiation. Some have called this, and I think it's accurate, escalate to de-escalate, to force them back to the table.
Before these
So what do you think so far? You're saying there's none of these are good options, but these are the options. What do you think about this?
I don't think he discussed the option of removing the IRGC. That's not, he went strikes like at the beginning. Strikes at the beginning did not remove the IRGC. He said walk away. That doesn't remove the IRGC. And slowly ramp up. That doesn't remove the IRGC. So this is a false choice.
So he's basically removing the options that will actually solve this. And he's saying,
Look, Amir in the chat is saying we found Humpty Dumpty. We can either confirm or deny whether or not this person is in any way related to Humpty Dumpty.
No, you should say we can't confirm or deny if we could put them back together again. That's what you should say.
We also cannot. We don't even want to try. Let's just have him not break and say whatever he wants.
Yes. Okay.
Deaths were reported. The Wall Street Journal reported that Iran has adapted to U.S. defenses, and Iran is now capable of firing missiles that can maneuver and travel at high speeds to hit sensitive targets, such as the ones hit in Jordan, although that was a drone strike.
Oh, here's another option. Yeah, maintaining the blockade is a really good option. That's a good one. Yeah.
Is Iran getting better at this throughout this war? And do you think that they're likely getting help from Russia or China?
As we say in military trade, the enemy gets a vote. And the Iranians are adaptive. By the way, they're watching what's happening very closely in Ukraine, where they are kind of playing the part of the Ukrainians, using innovation, using drones, using maneuver, trying to inflict cost on us the same way the Ukrainians are trying to inflict cost on Vladimir Putin. And I would say they don't have a great hand of cards, but they're playing it pretty well, kind of reminiscent of the North Vietnamese.
Do you think that they're playing it very well, the Islamic Republic? As in,
I think this guy is full of shit. They're not playing it very well. Like what is the game that they're playing? Look, this guy should stay away from the wall. I don't know what's going on with him, but I don't want him to fall off because, as far as these answers, he's definitely falling off. So what is he talking about? Winning how? Like, the only thing they're winning at is being annoying. They're good at being annoying. That's the only thing they've ever been good at. Yes, the IRGC is very annoying, deadly to its own people. But to American military, it's annoying. It's very annoying that they say they're going to do something and they don't do it. The problem we're having here, and what they're talked about a little bit but didn't go into, is like we don't know if the missiles that were launched had maneuvering capabilities on the way in. Now, there's two ways to do hypersonics because, like, most missiles are hypersonic. What makes a hypersonic, special, like the type of missiles we call the new hypersonics, is that they have maneuvering capabilities all the way down and fast capabilities. I don't think they're doing that at the thruster level. I think they're doing that with ailerons, aerodynamically, but it's still a problem to deal with. That's what makes them deadly. That's what gets past annoying, right? And what they do to the Iranian people, they're also like quite deadly, seriously deadly, way past annoying. Like, I don't want to downplay that. But I think that kind of assistance has come from China. And because of we're going against China for what they're doing within our own culture, for what they're doing with the media, what they're doing with our elections, what they're doing with how they're helping Iran, what they're doing with stealing our patents, what they're doing with stealing from our AI infrastructure, stealing the models and doing lots of illegal things where, there's a lot of things that China's doing that are very bad. What we have the result of now is their help with the hypersonics. I think China helped with their hypersonics. I don't know if it's in tech, intelligence, programming, but that's a problem That's probably why it was very hard to intercept. And this needs to be dealt with. And there's two options that he didn't give. One, completely annihilating the ARGC and letting a transitional government come in. And two, the blockade. The blockade is up. Like, I don't think he mentioned the blockade, like Chad said, but the blockade is up.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
In the war in Vietnam or the Taliban in Afghanistan. So they're working to make us determine that this candle is not worth the game, that we would, in fact, ultimately walk away. I don't think they'll succeed at that strategy, but it's certainly the one they're pursuing. And they are thus far at least hanging around the hoop and staying in the game.
Are we providing adequate security for our service members abroad? There has been a lot of coverage, CBS News, The Washington Post, about those initial casualties, U.S. casualties. I believe they were in Kuwait, and how there weren't sufficient alarms and protections.
The Pentagon is going to tear apart every single one of these strikes. Here, I'm confident they will do whatever it takes to increase the protection. What I'm a little bit worried about, Jake, is not so much in the Middle East, but it is attacks against our bases and our troops elsewhere in the world where there might be less alert presence. So think Europe, where we have 100.
This is why we had the travel advisory alert thing.
100,000 U.S. troops. Think Korea, think Japan or Okinawa, part of Japan. Those are vulnerabilities that I think the Iranians would not pause at exploiting. I'll give you one other point to think about as we look at this war unfolding. We are all fixated, we should be, on the Suez Canal. We all know that 20% of the world's gas and oil flows through it, 20% of the fertilizer. There's another choke point right to the left on the map to the west. It's called the Suez Canal. It's got more.
Wait, did he say the Suez Canal twice? I think he said it twice.
And our troops elsewhere in the world where there might be less alert presence. Yeah. So think Europe, where we have 100,000 U.S. troops. Think Korea, think Japan or Okinawa, part of Japan. Those are vulnerabilities that I think the Iranians would not pause at exploiting. I'll give you one other point to think about as we look at this war unfolding. We are all fixated, we should be, on the Suez Canal. We all.
Yeah, I think he meant the Strait of Hormuz. He's saying we are fixated on the Strait of Hormuz. Then he wanted to say on the west there's Suez Canal. I think you might have mentioned Bab el-Mandeb instead of the Suez Canal. I think he's getting his waterways mixed up.
Know that 20% of the world's gas and oil flows through it, 20% of the fertilizer. There's another choke point right to the left on the map to the west. It's called the Suez Canal. It's got more traffic flowing through it than the Strait of Hormuz. And the Iranians are beginning to make noises about attempting.
Oh my God, he means the Bab el-Mandeb. He got his waterways all confused. Did you see what happened? He's talking.
This is what you get from CNN.
Oh my God. So he referred to the Strait of Hormuz as Suez Canal, and then when he wanted to talk about Bab el-Mandeb, he also then talked about the Strait of Hormuz again. He's talking about both times he got it wrong. You referred and he mentioned the Strait of Hormuz twice. Bab el-Mandeb.
Not all straits are the same, guy. Oh my God, Humpty Dumpty over here. What's going on?
What a joke! Oh my God. This is your expert?
To close that using the Houthis in the southwest.
Yeah, the Houthis are for Bab el-Mandeb.
West corner. And so of the Arabian.
Wait, what?
And the Iranians are beginning to make noises about attempting to close that using the Houthis in the southwest corner. And so.
Southwest corner is Bab el-Mandeb. Suez Canal is northwest corner. Pick up a map
of the Arabian Peninsula. So that ought to be in the back of everyone's mind. Final thought, that may be why you're seeing attacks in Jordan right now, which is the.
I thought, is this a general? Aren't they supposed to know how the maps work?
northern.
Look, this is not. Look, I would give it to him if it happened one time. One time it can happen to anybody.
Okay.
This is how many?
Okay.
3 times in a row. 3
Yeah.
times in a row he got them wrong.
Right.
Tip of the Red Sea. So
Even
watch
Jake
this
Tapper looks
Suez
frustrated.
Canal as a way
Right.
the Iranians could make another move.
Somebody is asking a good question. Can IRGC block Suez Canal through sabotage? I mean, they can try, but right now they're struggling to close Bab el-Mandab, and Bab el-Mandab is right where their proxies are. They don't have any proxies at the Suez Canal. So imagine how so the Strait of Hormuz is right next to them. So they should be able to have most control over the Strait of Hormuz, which is right next to them. And they have had a hard time closing the strait.
You mean Bab el-Mandab?
No, the Strait of Hormuz. I'm going in order. Strait of Hormuz, Bab el-Mandab, Suez Canal. I'm basically going in the order of ease for closing to the Islamic Republic. The easiest one for the Islamic Republic to close is Strait of Hormuz for 2 reasons. Not only, maybe I should have a map or something here, right?
No, but he's talking about the Houthis.
Oh no, I'm just let me get. I know what I'm talking about. Trust me, I really know what I'm talking about here. Let me just go put them in order. Suez Canal, and
Americans are also terrible at maps. You got to remember that. That's why he gets away with it.
Yes, that's why I'm going to bring a map so that you guys could see. Oh, okay, this is a good map. I found a good map, so I could put it in the order of ease of closing for you guys, so you guys clearly see what's happening. I wish this was better resolution. Here, let me get another one that is higher resolution than this. This is like ugly. Okay, there we go. Okay, so look at this, guys, right? So we have the Strait of Hormuz here, right? This is the Strait of Hormuz over here. We have the Bab el-Mandab down here, and we have the Suez Canal up here. Okay, so up here. This is it. Okay, 2 of these are natural. Like Strait of Hormuz is natural, Bab el-Mandab is natural. The Suez Canal is artificial. That's why it's called a canal. Okay, not a strait, because people built it. Okay, these 2 bodies of water were not connected before, right?
Yes.
Bab el-Mandab, yes. Bab el-Mandab is basically the gate of. Bab means like a gate or a door. Al-Mandab means tears. The reason why they call it Bab el-Mandab is because it used to be so difficult to go through this. There were so many shipwrecks, and there were so many. Basically, there were so many people died trying to go through this historically. That's why they call it the Gate of Tears, right? Anyways, so from all of these 3, this is the easiest one for the Islamic Republic to close, the Strait of Hormuz. Why is it the easiest? For 2 reasons. First of all, it's right there. It's right next to the country, so they should be able to close it, the proximity of it. Another reason why should be easier to close is because the Iranian geography hugs it, right? Like if you look at if you are on this side, on the Omani Emirati side, you wouldn't be able to have much control over the Strait of Hormuz as the people who are on the other side, right? Because you could basically attack it from here, from here, from here, from here, and from here. So because it hugs it, the side that is hugging the Strait of Hormuz has more control than the side that is penetrating the Strait of Hormuz. I just couldn't find a better name, right? So the hugging side will have more control over the strait. This is why geographically, this should be the easiest one for the Islamic Republic to have control over. So this is number 1. And now that you know that this is the easiest, the fact that ships have still gone through a lot through the Strait of Hormuz while the Islamic Republic had the blockade on, you could see that they couldn't even close this fully. So now the second hardest one is going to be Bab el-Mandab. Bab el-Mandab is more difficult because it's very far away from the Islamic Republic, but it should be easier than the Strait of Hormuz because at least it's right next to Yemen, and the Houthis are in charge over here, and the Houthis are a proxy of the Islamic Republic. The problem with the Houthis being a proxy of the Islamic Republic is that they are not as loyal, like they sometimes deviate away from the plans of the Islamic Republic because they're their own state. unlike the other proxies of the Islamic Republic who are not fully a state. The only other proxy of the Islamic Republic that used to be a state was Assad, but Assad fell. But neither Hezbollah or the or Kataib or Hashishabi or Fatimiyun or Zainabiyun, they're non-states. So they're more of a proxy. But the Houthis, because they're a state and a government, they have their own agenda. And if it doesn't align with the Islamic Republic agenda, they won't do it unless they get a lot of support and something big. So it's a proxy, but it's not fully a proxy, and it's far away. But given that the Houthis are there, you have some control over it. The Suez Canal, you have no proxies over here. Not only you have no proxies over here, the neighboring countries are kind of like your adversaries. And also the worst problem is that it's right next to Israel, right? So Israel has complete dominance over there, and they can see what you're doing. And if you get close to there, Israel will be able to respond to you. I'm not saying it's impossible. Obviously, there are certain things you could do, but given how much difficulty they have had with the Strait of Hormuz, which should be the easiest one for them, you could see how hard the Suez Canal would be to them. Did that explain things? Was this a good explanation, guys? Do you guys see now the order of difficulty between these three waterways?
Can I give the Walmart American version?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, he meant the Houthi gate, the gate of tears, right? That's where the Houthis are. The Houthis got something right next to them right there. The Houthis can't do anything about the canal. The canal is very far away. That guy's an idiot, right? The most they could do is launch a rocket, maybe, and they don't have a lot of rockets left. So how is that going to close the strait? They can't. They don't have the equipment. They don't have the money. They don't have the boats. They don't have a navy. They don't have a ballistic missile base. They don't have a navy. All they could do is cause problems at the Bab al-Mandeb, the Gate of Tears. They can cause problems at the Gate of Tears, but way high up there at the Suez Canal, they can't do shit. This guy is either purposefully trying to confuse people or he's a dumbass. Either way, it's not good. CNN should not either try to purposefully confuse people or have a dumbass on screen. They have many, but Jake Tapper has been in the game long enough that he should have clocked this. Jake Tapper himself should have said, whoa. Don't you mean Bab al-Mandeb? Don't you mean the Gate of Tears? Because the Houthis are at the Gate of Tears. The Houthis aren't at the canal. What are you talking about? The most I've ever seen the Houthis do is hit one rocket that hit an airport. That was years and years ago, and I think it was a lucky shot. They can't close a strait. That's crazy. A canal. They can't close that canal. It's crazy.
But Arash, you're asking a good question, right? Because we might be giving them ideas, right? Because I'm just kidding, but like I'm saying that's the most difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible. Like you could get, I don't know. You know what? I shouldn't even say it on YouTube because YouTube might think I'm suggesting acts of terror. So I'm not going to make any.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I'm not going to. But yeah, but it's the most difficult. It's the most difficult. Just to be clear. And thank you, Arash, for your super chat. Let's do this one. Okay, Rokana. I haven't ever listened to him, so this is a great opportunity to see what his takes are like.
This vote, though, it represents a significant change in your party. There was a similar vote just 2 years ago. Only 37 Democrats voted for it. Now that number's 103, and the messaging around it has also changed. Whip Catherine Clark said we should not provide a blank check for military aid to any country that does not comply with U.S. laws, interest, values. The problem with this blank check phraseology, though, is that it's not a blank check. This is, a funding that's governed under a 10-year security memorandum. It was negotiated by President Obama. So if a bipartisan agreement that was negotiated by President Obama can be, discarded before it expires, what message does that send to the rest of the world about the reliability of U.S. security agreements that are long-term?
Sends a message that you can't do what you did in Gaza and you can't defy the American president. By the way, they've defied both Joe Biden and Donald Trump. And
wait, he's saying Israel defied both Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Israel defied them.
Yes.
Well, it says you can't trust Democrats.
Defied them? Like, what do you mean defied them? Isn't Israel?
I'm sure the
own
situation in Gaza
nation?
was the same.
No, but what do you mean defy? Like, isn't like Israel its own independent nation state with its own independent decisions?
I'm sure the deal had nothing to do with Gaza. He's just sticking it in there as a talking point because he knows mentioning Gaza is a talking point that Americans gravitate towards. So because most Americans don't know what this deal talk is about, they just know money and say, money go out, money go out, money go out. We stop money. We stop money because Gaza. Oh, we stop money because Gaza. That's what it breaks down to.
sends a message that you can't do what you did in Gaza, and you can't defy the American president. By the way, they've defied both Joe Biden and Donald Trump, and expect the American people to just take it. We're the world superpower, and Netanyahu acts as if he can dictate the terms to us. That's why he's losing support with, as I mentioned, not just Democrats, but all the young generation of Republicans. That's why you see J.D. Vance frustrated at Netanyahu. And the biggest thing is, Jackie, that they have a $45 billion defense budget. Why are we subsidizing one of the richest countries in the world? That money should be going for jobs here, housing here, childcare here, healthcare here.
Okay, but first of all, I think many Israelis want that whole what you just monkey is accurate. That's not even an aid. That's a discount to your ally. It's a discount to your ally. What you're doing is that they're buying guns from you. You're just giving them a discount because you're their ally. And that's what you do with your allies. And supporting your number one ally in the region benefits Americans, improves security, improves stability of global trade, brings down prices globally, including for Americans. So all of this comes back to the American way of life. But monkey's ready to chimp out. So go ahead, monkey.
He is so full of shit that if he sat on a stool, he'd be redundant. Just shit on a stool. The fact is, if you look at his state, California, just one of the fraud schemes would pay, just one of their fraud schemes would pay for the discount that we give Israel for many years. It's billions upon billions of dollars that are lost to California's fraud schemes that Ro Khanna greatly benefits from, especially voter fraud. But there's other schemes that pay for that voter fraud, and he benefits from all that Medicaid fraud, that Medicare fraud, that education fraud. He benefits from all of that. I'm looking up the numbers, and we're talking about $15 to $16 billion, right? And I also want to look up how much we give Israel in aid because he's full of shit. And I am absolutely sure it's way less than that. The aid is a discount. Why do we give them a discount? Number one, because they're giving us more money. We're just like, hey, I'll let you buy even more stuff if you get this discount because we need to get rid of this surplus. You can use this surplus. We're not using it right now. You use it. I'll give it to you at a discount. That's what it is. These people keep lying about what we spend. This is their cover. What you have to understand is that this is a deception. They're trying to blame the problems with their budget, the problems with their taxes, the problems with their gas prices on the war, when the real problems with the budget comes from $1.5 trillion in America being lost to fraud. The military budget is $1 trillion. That means we're spending a military budget and a half on fraud. And we're still number one on earth. And it's because of people like this piece of shit right here called Ro Khanna that we are deceived into believing that our expenditures and the cost of our living is somehow hindered by giving a discount to our allies. No. What's hindering our standard of living is fraud from pieces of shit like Ro Khanna.
Pretty good. Okay, that was pretty good. Needed a good chin pat before we end the show. Oh, by the way, before guys, we remember Monkey and I are going to go into a group call pretty soon. So come there and join us. Is today? Oh my God! Today, guys, today is going to be free for all. Today is public, so anybody can come and talk. Come there and talk to me and Monkey. I'm going to put the link in the chat. It's happening in 1 hour. Once you come into our discussion group, go find our group call. It's both on the homepage over here. The link is on the homepage here. Also, you could just go to the calendar and find the group call that is coming up over there. Monkey, you're going to be there?
I might be able to be there. I have to make some calls about, the kids and doing the college thing.
Yeah. No need to give details, but okay, you might be able to.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yes, okay.
I'll try.
But guys, yes. So guys, we're gonna be there. Come there. It's gonna be, it's open to all. This is the once every 3 days. It's open to all. So that means that anybody could come and talk to us. The link, by the way, the link is also in the bio section of the Liberty Politics YouTube channel. It's in the QR code at the top left. Also, if you don't want to come into our group call, you could just watch it on YouTube because we're going to be streaming it on live right over here. So if you just subscribe to us and hit the bell notification, it should notify you. Don't forget to go and support the monkey. The monkey wasn't the monkey great today? The monkey was so great today. So go support him. The link to his channel is in the chat. So go and support him and get his subscribers to 1,000. We're trying to get him to 1,000 soon.
I want to say one last thing. I looked up the budget. It was 3.3 billion in discounts, and they pay us a lot more than that. Like that's like a 10-15% discount. And what we lost in fraud to them is 16 billion. So you got to understand, California fraud, which he is supposed to oversee, is 16 billion. And the distraction that he's using is that we give a $3 billion, a $3.3 billion discount, which out of 10% means they buy around $10 billion in weapons and more, which means around $30 billion in weapons and more to make that $33 billion to get that to 10% around there. So they're spending so much more, giving us so much more money than we're giving them, which is why we call it a discount. It's just a discount. They don't even get to touch cash. It's a discount. These people are lying to you because they want to hide how much money they steal. They want to distract you.
Perfectly said. And Zipgun was giving us a super chat earlier that was completely in line with what you're saying. Zipgun is saying more money was stolen in Minnesota that was given to Israel. Yes. And also
Absolutely
it's not given
true.
to Israel. That's 100% true. And also it's not given to Israel. It's basically you're just giving Israel a good deal on your weapons because they use it to kill your enemies, right? So imagine if I'm selling guns and I'm giving every single gun that I'm selling is like $5,000 each. And somebody comes to me and like, hey, can I buy your guns? And I'm like, sure. And like, what are you going to use it for? Or like, I'm going to go take out these people who are robbing my house. And I'm like, oh my God, those people also rob my house. You're going to go for them? Like, yes, I'm going to go take them out. I'm like, okay, I give you a discount, 50% off if you need more so that you could buy more for me because the people you're after are also the people I'm after. And you seem to be, and I also see the results are very good. You're really good at what you do. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you a discount because the more successful you are, the better it is for me. So that's what the so-called aid is. It's a discount on the people who are very effective at taking out your enemies. That's what it is.
Yeah, but it's not 50. It's way lower than that. We're still making a profit.
I know. I was not. That was just
putting it out there. People get confused. Yeah. You're running numbers at Americans. We don't math us, bro.
Hey, let me be clear. Americans are good at math. Like they are really good at math, right? They are.
You know what? You're absolutely right. And I want 2 more subscribers if you can. I'm trying to get to 730. We're gonna math that out right now. Get to 730 if I can. 2 more of you. 2 volunteers out there want to see the monkey live at 9.
You know what the problem is? When in America, the people who are the best at math, people look at their origins and are like, oh, these are Chinese or these are, I don't know, Indian. No, they're American. Okay, these are American, and they're really good at. I mean, they're ethnically Chinese, and they might also have dual citizenship, but they're also American. Okay, these are American, right? And also, white people are also good at math. So don't agree with these stereotypes?
No, we changed their race. Harvard says Asians are white now, so they don't get equity. They don't get equality.
Okay, that's okay. Yes, or Iranian. Yes, for sure. Yes, that's good. All right, guys, we're gonna go. Don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate all the people. Let me just, instead of asking for people to subscribe and like, I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna thank the people who are doing it. Okay, we keep asking for it, but we don't thank the people who do it. So let's switch it up. Okay, instead of saying please like and subscribe, I'm just gonna say I'm so grateful to everybody who subscribes. I'm so grateful. I appreciate everybody who hits the bell notification, and everybody who likes the stream, everybody who does the comments. Thank you. Everybody who shares our videos. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And we'll see you guys in 1 hour. 1 hour. Yes. So see you then. Until then, I'm Israel Chai. Slava Ukraine. Cuba Libre. Long live America.
Long live America.
Javicha.
Javicha.
Hayende. Iran.
Iran.
See you guys.